Recording in progress.
Hey Matt, do you have anybody from your team that's cheap?
Can you grab my my glasses that are in my car?
Where this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Training class today, and hopefully you were in the agency meeting. If you are not, welcome. What we're going to go over today, we'll spend I'm going to try and get through the information as quick as possible. So let's say we'll spend maybe an hour on the first part, take a little bit of a break, and then we'll go into the second part. So the first part is just going to introduce you to really what you need to know before you get started, some introduction stuff. And then we'll go into understanding the opportunity, which is basically a lot of numbers. So the second part of today is going to be more numbers. So if you're not good with numbers, or the good news is it's very basic math, nothing crazy, nothing rocket science or anything. So I'll go over that and probably be using the whiteboard. I brought a marker in here, and we'll break some numbers down on the board. All right. So at this point, everybody got their license. Everybody should have their script. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your license number from the state. Sometimes someone will pass their test, but they actually don't have their license number from the state yet. That's what you need. And you show your license to our home office, and then our home office will give you an agent number. And then you'll be official with the company. Once you have that agent number, now you can officially submit an application through the company and get paid and all that stuff. Okay, so that's the process. I don't know where exactly everybody's at a little different spot, but I would check on that, hey, talk to your manager, say, hey, where's my agent number at? Do I need to do anything to get my agent number? I just want to get an idea when it's going to be coming, and just stay on top of your agent numbers. Quick question. Yeah.
Quick question. So I got my temporary from AIL. I'm assuming that's not my permanent. Is that just part of the process? They submit your temporary, you do the ethics training, you sign up to the EAP, get all that stuff on your computer. Is there anything that comes after that? Or
When
once
you
we
you got a temporary what?
I got a temporary agent number from AIL
Oh yeah.
after I submitted the HR paperwork and everything.
Yeah, no, that should be the same agent number, I believe. Whenever you submit a piece of business, maybe that's when it turns into a permanent number. I'm not too big on the back ends of the system, of how all that stuff works, but I'm pretty sure, if you have a temporary number, you're good to go, right? All right, perfect. Now all of us should have our scripts, right? The script is something that takes a good 40 hours to memorize and learn. I'll just stress the importance of it for you. The script is like, if this is like your career is going to rotate around this script. So if you have the script down really good, then and the wheels going, it's going to be nice and tight. But if it's not that down so well, and it's going to be wobbly, right? So you want to make sure that that your script like verbatim, and then during the training process, we'll teach you all the nuances, the ins and outs, how to say things. Because remember, it's not what you say, but how you say it. But right now, we just need to worry about what to say. So as long as you can say the script and say it verbatim and say it almost like a robot, we'll teach you the how to position things and tonality and different stuff like that. So the better that you know the script, the better you're going to be able to teach it to other people as well. So if you're here to get in leadership and the management, if you want to grow and build an organization, I always told myself, if I don't know it that well, how am I going to be able to teach it to other people? But if I know it really, really well, then I'm going to be able to teach it to people really, really well. So you can't give what you don't have. So that's why I really wanted to master the script. It was not even for myself, because to be honest with you, I could probably go out there and just talk to people and make some sales. I got personality, you got personality, we all got personality. We can do all that, but it's not duplicable. So that's why I really stressed for myself to learn that script, because I needed to have something that was transferable and duplicable, and I could just train to someone, they could train to someone, they could train to someone. And I've seen this for years and years and years, 13 years now in July, or in June, I'll be 13 years with the company. And I've seen this system be something that's replicable and duplicable. But when people go off and they start doing stuff on their own, that's great, but it's not as duplicable. And then you can't grow that into leadership as much, right? So the script is so important for a lot of different reasons. And it works. It works. Chances are, if you're out and if you don't have the success that you need to have, chances are you're just not doing it the right way. You're probably not saying the right words, or you're not saying them the right way. So really, it's three things. It's always what you say, how you say it, and when you say it. So you got to say the right things. You got to say them at the right time, but you also got to say them the right way. Those are the three components to sales. But if you find someone that's making a lot of sales, and then you find someone that's making an average amount of sales, and you find someone that's making less than average amount of sales, the difference is in what they're saying. That's it. This person who's making above average sales is saying different things than the person who's making below average sales. And the cool thing is, if they wanted if the person who was not having much success, if they wanted to start having the same success as them, all they got to do is just start saying what they're saying. It's crazy. It's three things. It's what you say, it's how you say it, and it's when you say that. You got to say the right things the right way at the right time. There's certain times in your presentation where you're going to want to be jovial. You're going to joke around and lighten the mood a little bit, and you're going to have a certain joke that you're going to have to say a certain way, and that's the way certain jokes only work if you say them certain ways, So you're going to have a certain joke. You're going to have to say it a certain way, but you also have to have the timing. if you don't say that at the right time, it might not hit home as well, or it could actually cause a bad effect. For instance, you know, if you're trying to set the mood and maybe, you know, talk about something serious and you decide to say that joke, you're like, dude, I said the right joke. I said it the right way. I say, yeah, but guess what? You said it at the wrong time. That was not the right time to say that joke right there. It was a great joke. It really was. So you got to know what to say, how to say it, but also when to say it. And that's going to be practice, a lot of practice. So don't ever think like, because you did it here for 3 months, even 3 years, you're still practicing. A doctor has a doctor's what? They have a practice. So this guy went to school for 7, 10 years. They went to school for 10 years. Hey, how's it going? You didn't miss much. We're talking about the practice though. So even 3 years from now, 7 years from now, even a doctor, they call it a practice because that's what they're doing. They're always practicing. But who they practicing on? That's crazy. They're practicing on clients. That's what always like was kind of like weird to me to hear. Like a doctor has a doctor's wait, a practice? Aren't you a doctor? Why are you still practicing if you're already a doctor? And who are you practicing on, by the way? You practice on patients. So, you know, a lawyer, what does a lawyer practice? Lawyer practices law. Who's he practice law on? The people who pay him, right? So you're always gonna have to keep practicing and getting better. So the script is the first one. We got to admit somebody here. Let me get her in. Should pop up on, there we go. All right. Can you hear us? Connecting to audio. There it is. Is it Thela? Hey, okay. There we go. Now it's a party. Now it's a party. Now we got everybody. So anyways, you know, that's the thing. And the script is an easy way for you to always go back to, if you're off, if you could always go back to your script. That's the basic part of the whole system. So good. So now everybody got their scripts down. That's great. Now we got to start putting those things to use. So during training, you're going to go through 2 weeks of like a formal training where there'll be a classroom setting. Today's obviously the first day. And I'll kind of walk you through those first 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks should look like this. In the mornings, we really want to focus on just practicing our craft. You know, if I was a boxer, I would just show up to the gym in the morning and for 3 hours, practice my right jab, you know, or practice my left hook or whatever it might be. All we're going to do, if we're a golfer, we're going to get up there in the morning. We're just going to practice our swing. We're going to work with the 9-iron all day today, all morning. We're working on a 9-iron, right? So in the mornings, the way you'll do it is this is a chance for us to role play our presentation. So from 9 until noon in the mornings, we'll be role playing our presentation. And the way you want to do this is to slowly start doing more and more and more. So for instance, tomorrow will be Tuesday morning. It's your first day. So what you want to do is role play maybe 25% of the presentation. Second day, maybe 35%. Then the fourth day, which would be Thursday, 45%. By the end of week 1, you want to be 50% done with your presentation and have done it multiple times. Because rather than knowing the full presentation by the end of this first week, guys, but only knowing it kind of 50%, I'd rather us know only the first 50% of the presentation, but know it 100%. So this week, the focus is the first half of the presentation, getting that down pat, just crushing the first half, okay? And knowing that 100%. So the more that we just go over that and role play it, and tomorrow is your first day, so you might only do logging onto the computer, building rapport, and telling them why we're there, and maybe playing the introduction video. Maybe that's all we get to. But we go over that enough to where we really get it down. And then we build on that to the next day, we can go into some of the no-cost benefits. And then the next day we go into more no-cost benefits. And then by the end of week 1, we can go through the whole first half of this presentation and feel 100%, you know, that we got it down 100%, done it enough. Now, second week, second half. So in the second week, We're going to still do the first half, but now we're going to start going into the 60%, 75, 80, 90. By the end of the second week, you role played in the morning the full presentation a bunch of times. Also, what your goal is by the end of these 2 weeks is to have one of your presentations that you've done on film, because you could go on a Zoom call and just click record and film it and have like your final one, like this is my final best one, and that you can kind of go off of and your manager can watch with you. Because a lot of times you don't realize it until you see yourself. So I would really recommend to record yourself practicing, not just like watching yourself present in with a client, but practice before you go in. When I was playing football, we would have football practice in college, especially as they did this. They would have these big towers built all around the football field so that cameramen can go up there and film from a different perspective, right? So we wanted to get a different point of view from a whole different perspective as well. So we had on each side of the field, there's like 4 of them. There's 4 of them, and they would film our practice. And then after practice, we have to go watch ourselves practice. Like it wasn't enough for me to spend 2.5 hours practicing. I had to go spend another hour watching myself practice. And we weren't allowed to go eat until we watched practice. And the coach or the GA would sit in there, and if we messed up, he'd rewind it. You say, you see right there? You see right there how you got let him, he got too close to you, right? You got to always keep your distance right there. You see that? You know, and he'll point it out and replay and show you a bunch of times. If you miss a tackle, that's the worst thing, because the whole team's in there and he's rewinding you missing a tackle and stuff, right? So the whole point of it though is taking that same concept. Think about, why do championship sports teams and championship golfers, they set up a camera and they film themselves swinging, and then they send that film to experts, and then the experts give them feedback. You know, what if you were able to film yourself and you send it to Tiger Woods every day, and Tiger Woods was like, oh, this time you got to do this. You said, all right, hey, I'm going to film it, send it back to you. Then he said, hey, you did exactly what I said to do, but now you got to put your elbow down. Now you got to lift your head up. Now you got to pull back faster. Now that was too fast. Now you got to do it slower. You're leaning back. You got to lean forward. You know, he's like, every single time, if he gave me a different thing, that'd be great. Right. So having yourself on film is just a great tool, because first of all, I used to argue with my coach on the field. Like, I'll be in the game and he was like, you did it wrong. I was like, coach, I swear I did it right. He's like, all right, we'll see on the film. And I would go in there, we watch it on film, and sure enough, guess who was right, me or him? You think I did it right? Of course I didn't do it right, because if I did it right, the guy would have been tackled. You know, I would have scored, it would have worked. So the thing is, you think sometimes that you do it right, but it was like, he put it on film and I watched myself. I was like, oh, wow, I guess you're right. And I didn't even realize until I actually saw it with my eyes. So as painful as it may be, this is your best tool. You don't even need a coach, really, because the first time I went on film, I watched it, and then my manager was like, hey, let me watch that film. I was like, nope. I already saw 10 things wrong with it. You don't even need to see this one. Let me make another one, and then we could watch maybe that one together. So the cool thing is, like, when you watch your own film, you're going to already see like 10 things that you immediately want to fix, you know? And now I'm so cool with it and I'm okay with it, but it was annoying to listen to my own voice. I didn't like the way I sounded. I didn't like the way I looked, you know, everything about it was just, you're not going to like much of it. I'll tell you that much. I didn't like much of it either. So, but what happens is you get stuck doing it all the time. And after I went on film 10 times, before I even got out on my own, I was filming myself a lot. I was like, all right, I'm used to it by now. So you get used to it. So I tell you, that is probably one of the biggest tools you can use, is whenever you do any practice at all, any role playing with somebody or doing your presentations and stuff, film them as well. So you won't waste that time. You can get more usage out of that hour. You know, I could go on film. I could do a presentation right now and practice it. I'll get better because I practiced. But if I film it, and then I could go back and watch that. It's like making more use of that 1 hour than that. So I just want to give you guys the best tool that I know, and they call it the eye in the sky never lies. It's the camera on you. Oh yeah. We should have. You know what? There is a here. Let me grab it for you. Extension cord.
This might be long enough.
No, look, I got this right here for that purpose. See this? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Like, we're definitely going to need an extension cord one day in here.
Okay.
So there's,
Thank you so much.
yeah. That's it. Perfect. All right, next thing is, so in the mornings, what are we doing? Role playing, right? And the goal is by the end of week 1 to crush 50%, by the end of week 2 to get 100% of the presentation down and done it a bunch of times, you know. Now in the afternoons, we're going to be in class. So this is, you know, grab yourself some lunch from like 12 to 1, and then we'll hop in here and we'll just go over a bunch of information, training, teaching. This is where we're basically going to be taking notes for the most part. Okay. We're going to try and, it's 1 to 4 is the time slot that we have allotted for this, but we're going to try and get these done in less than that amount of time, you know? So each person you're going to hear from this week, you're going to hear from all of our best people here in the agency, which is nice because you get to meet them. They get to meet you and everything too. So you meet Drew and Josh and Gio and Vince and Casey. And I'll be sitting on a couple of days as well. I'll do Friday with you this week. I do Tuesday with you guys next week. So in the afternoons, you'll be with the top leaders going over different information each day as well. So I'm not going to go over the syllabus on what we got going on each day because that'll just take too much time right now. But each day you're going to be here from 1 to 4, right on the same call. So if you're on a Zoom call, guys, it's the same link every day. And if you're in person, we'll be right in this room over here. And then in the evenings, it'll be from 4 till 5. There's a break. Typically, from class should end at 4, and then we got a break until 5. And then from 5 until whenever your last appointment is for the night, so 5 until whenever, is when you should be actually on live presentations with your manager or managers. So Tuesday, for example, tomorrow, whatever we practice in the morning, that's kind of what you want to participate in at night. So on Tuesday morning, if we're working on 25% of the presentation, then, and you've done it in the morning, 25% of the presentation, you put yourself on film, your manager watch it and everything, and you have appointments now at night, right? Your manager can let you do that part. You done it this morning, you rocked it, that was good. So you're gonna go in, you're gonna introduce yourself, you know, you're gonna be able to rapport with them, you're gonna let them know why we're here, and then you're gonna play the introduction video, and then I'll take over from there, you know, and then I'll slide in, and we'll both be on the screen at the same time, and then I'll do the other 75% of the presentation, right? Then we'll go into the next presentation right after that, and I can coach you up on what you did. Hey, great job on this. They asked you this question. You answered it just like we talked about. You know, don't forget though, you skip this part right here. You know, make sure next time we do this that you do everything you did, but you don't skip that part. So I'll add a couple things, and then we'll go to the next house, next presentation, and you could go do it again, right? And then maybe you could even go a little bit further this time, a little bit further. And every time the goal is for you to take it a little bit further. So, and I do less, you do more, I keep doing less until the end of week 1, you're doing 50% of the presentation and I'm doing the other 50%. You know, by the end of week 2, we're like cross pitching. You're doing 1, I'm doing 1. You're doing a full 1, I'll do. And we just kind of go back and forth and cross pitch a little bit. So that's the goal for the evenings. So kind of whatever you practice in the morning is what you're going to be participating in the evenings. When just like I remember when I played ball, we'd have a game at night. Well, they'd make us meet at the football field in the morning, and we had to do walkthroughs, and we had to walk through all of the game plans, just do like a walkthrough. You know, it wasn't live or anything. It's like if we had to tonight put on a big performance, you know, like a play or something, Well, in the morning, hey, let's huddle up this morning. Let's do walkthroughs, make sure the lights work, make sure everything works, just a quick dry run, sort of, right? So in the mornings, that's what you're doing. You're practicing, you're getting ready, because at night, we really want you to start participating. And the whole idea is during training, you don't want to just be sitting there watching your manager make a bunch of sales. You'll learn a little bit from that, but you'll learn a lot more from you doing it and your manager coaching you. It's like back to Tiger Woods, since we're talking about golf a little bit, is if he came in here and he shot 100 golf balls in front of us right now, and he hit them all straight, I don't know, 400 yards or however how far he hits these things. Well, then he handed over to Steve. He said, all right, Steve, you're up, man. Now just do like I showed you 100 shots in a row, and they were all perfect. So you should be able to do this now, right? It's like my kid. Hey, you've been seeing me drive for 16 years. You watched me drive for 16 years. So here you go. Drive the car, go pick up your friends and go to the movies. Like, just because they've been seeing you do it for 16 years still doesn't mean they can do it, right? So like our managers can sell. So you don't need to say, I need to see you make it. They can make sales. We need to see you do it and help you. So like Tiger Woods, it would be better if you came up here and maybe Tiger shot 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 of them for you just to see it. But after that, what would be better is if he handed you the club and you swung and he sat there and told you what to do. All right, hey, next time, keep your head up. Hey, great job. Next time, keep your head down. Next time, look at the ball. Next time, swing harder, whatever, So he's going to give you coaching points every time. And after you do 100 swings and you make 100 different adjustments, you're going to be 100% better than where you at the beginning. So during these first 2 weeks, your goal is to be participating as much as possible, and what the heck I want to tell you is it's going to feel uncomfortable. So what somebody told me, and it helped me, is they told me it's not going to feel comfortable. It don't matter what you do. It's your first time you go and talk to somebody about this, it's going to feel uncomfortable. And so what you have to do is you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I had to really think about that for a while. I'm like, what does that really mean? And after I thought about it and I went through it made sense to me. And I was like, all right, yep, that's the only way to get through this. Because if I'm going to have to get comfortable with it. So the way that you can get through it, though, is after we give 100 presentations, that's when you're actually going to be really comfortable and you don't have to fake it anymore. Because they say fake it until you make it, right? So your first 100 presentations, if you seem real comfortable and real confident, you're just doing a real good job of faking it. Because for the first presentation that you do, you're going to feel 100% uncomfortable and 100% unconfident the first presentation you do. But then the second presentation, now you're about 1% comfortable, confident. You're still 99% uncomfortable. Then your third one, now you're 2% comfortable, then 3%. Each presentation we do will get you 1% more comfortable. And that's why 100 presentations is the magic number. Once you hit 100 presentations, that's when you start to feel 100% comfortable and 100% confident. And that's what people buy. So people buy you. That before the company, they're going to buy the company, they buy the product, but at the end of the day, they buy you. The presentation, all that, they buy you. And what they're buying is a confident you. So you want to know what people buy? It's confidence. They want to be able to go to sleep at night and know that when they wake up in the morning, their family's protected. They want to know if something happens, they're confident that everything is going to be taken care of because of you. So what they buy is a confident you. And until you give about 100 presentations, you're kind of almost faking that confidence. Okay. Well, how long is it going to take us to give these 100 presentations? So your training, let's go like this. Your training is right now for the first 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. After the Second week, you might be ready to rock and roll. We'll get you your leads. You can start setting appointments and setting the world on fire and just running out there. You don't need a manager with you anymore. You could just go out there and do it all on your own. Some people after these first 2 weeks maybe need a third week. So after that third week, we'll still train with you, work with you, give you everything you need. And then after that, then you can go out on your own. Some people need a fourth week. We'll train them for a fourth week. If you really need it, we're not here. I can't afford, you can't afford, we can't afford to go and call on clients if we're not prepared to do so. That can be detrimental to the whole operation, to the whole company and everything we stand for. See, there's a group out there, and one of them is the Service Employees International Union, service employees. Some of them are healthcare, nurses, home care nurses, people like that. So we have the service employees. If I don't train Steve properly, because I just want to keep him 2 weeks and just get him out there, right? Just hurry up and you throw him, see if he can make some sales. So I give him these leads. He starts calling on, and he calls a service employee, says the wrong thing to him, goes out to their house, upsets the member. The member, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go to work tomorrow and talk to their president. And the president's going to say, hey, what's going on with this American Income? You know, you guys are supposed to be doing this, and they're telling me you guys are doing this. I'm canceling this program. If this is, my members are going to, they're not going to, the president makes the most money in the union. Do you think the president likes their job? Do you think the president is going to get voted in again if we're calling and pissing off all their members? They're going to fire him, right? He would rather fire us before they fire him. You know what I mean? So he will cancel the program, or she, and she'll say, there's no more American Income for the service employees. That was 6,000 members that we had. 6,000. That could feed you and your family for the next couple of years. One person here. And we lost that whole group because of why? Because we didn't do the system properly. We didn't train them properly. We shortcutted things. You know, so what happens here is if you try to take the shortcut, then your results get cut short. You know? So we try to make sure we do things the right way through the training process. And if it takes an extra week, even if it's an extra 2 weeks, if we come this far, we can't afford to just, you know, cut some corners. What do they say? If you cut the corners will cut you. You ever hear that one? So I was really trying to be very diligent on just making sure I try to be as by the book as possible. So with these 100 presentations now, how long should it take to do 100 presentations? Well, at 10 presentations per week, if we look at 10 per week, and we need to do 100 presentations, obviously, how many weeks? 10 weeks. So if we do 10 presentations a week for the next 10 weeks, we'll be at 100 presentations. And you'll be where you need to be, 100% comfortable, 100% confident, all that stuff. How long is 10 weeks? How many months?
2.5, about.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5. So 2.5, right? Now, what's interesting, you're going to see here in a little bit, is that I'll go over it right now. This will just give us a little bit of information we're going to go over today anyways. I'll just go over it now. Okay. Is what's interesting here is that if you do 10 presentations a week or a month or a year or a day, it don't matter. But for every 10 presentations that you do, how many would enroll? 3. That's closing at 30%. So 3 people tell us yes, 7 people tell us no. Let's just stop there for 1 second and just talk about the career. That's the career. If I could sum it up for you. You're going to talk to 10 people. 7 of them are going to tell you no. 3 of them are going to tell you yes. Check those odds. 3 to 7. That's more than twice as many people are going to tell you no as they tell you yes. More than twice. So you have to be okay with getting told no twice as much as you get told yes. That is one of the hardest things for people to handle is rejection. That's why most people don't go ask him or her for their phone number because they're afraid that him or her is going to say what? With the word we never want to hear. No, it's going to crush my soul. No, it kills people. No, no, no. That's why most people don't even ask, is because they don't even want to get told no. Here's the worst thing about it. This is an epiphany of a lifetime I had. Is that if you don't go and ask him or her for the phone number, what is the answer for sure going to be?
No.
No. And what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of that?
No.
If you're afraid of no, and that really scares you, and you don't go ask, it's a guaranteed no. So you should be more afraid to not ask than to ask. And that literally blew my mind when somebody explained that to me. Hopefully you got it. This maybe when you're driving later today, you're like, oh, I get it. But it's going to catch you. I'm telling you. You got to say it a couple times over and over. And then, you know what? I want you to teach this to somebody one day. Teach this to somebody. Like, especially if you got one of your guy friends or one of your girlfriends or somebody that you know that's on a dating scene and they see somebody and like, I mean, go talk to her. Oh, I can't do that. Well, what are you afraid of? Well, what if she says no? Oh, let me tell you what if she says no. I'll tell you. And you could go into the whole thing that we just went over right now. If you're afraid of no, you better go ask her because guess what the answer is? You know, and there you go. So, but the point is, guys, we're going to get that word told to us. And the best of the best in this company, same thing. They just lasted. They were able to handle rejection. Okay. What happens though is the more you do this, the better that you get at it. The better you get at it. Last time I went in the field, I sat down with 18 people. All 18 of them enrolled. So you might start out here, but the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, for sure. So you got to be able to handle some of that. I'll give you guys a little analogy on this real quick, even though this is not part of this is like a little tangent for us though. Numbers. If you sat down 15 families, just for you to mentally know what this is about. This is what was told to me one time. They said, what's going to happen is 6 of them are going to tell you no. 6 of them are going to tell you no. 3 of them are going to tell you yes. That's what's going to happen. But so there's 6 left. And everybody always asks that. So what happened to the other 6? Those 6 are on the fence. We have to be good enough to get 2 out of this 6 on our side of the fence. And then what will happen is you'll have 5 out of 15 enroll, and you'll be average. So the key is, 6 of them are guaranteed no's. Nobody could sell them in the world. Not even the founder of American Income could sell these people. Nobody could sell them. So you can't let the no's affect the yeses. And that's what a lot of people do. They'll get told no, and they'll let that no affect their demeanor, who they are, their presentation. They start changing their whole presentation around because this person told them no. So then when they go into the guy who was supposed to tell them yes, they give them this half-ass presentation that wasn't what we taught them to do because they start changing stuff around and they did it with a bad attitude. And this was supposed to be a yes, and you turned a yes into a no. These are only yeses as long as you give them a good presentation. And as long as you don't drag the no's with you into the next sit down. You have to leave the no's where they're at. Okay. And then obviously over here, we have to be good enough to be convincing, to be closing people down. There is some closing involved here. So you have to be able to close them down and get the sales out of at least 2 out of 6. And, you know, sometimes you can get even more. But that's just another numbers game I figured I'd share with you. And then back to the numbers that we had up here. And the reason I go over all this is 10 presentations for a week. 3 of them will enroll. The average client enrolls at $67 a month. So you got 3 sales, and each sale is at $67 a month. Okay. $67 a month. If you had to sit down with a client and show them, hey, here, we're going to protect your family, everything you love, everything you care about. Okay. And it's $67 a month, $17 a week. For most families, if they had to write down their bills, where would $67 fit into their budget? Like, you sit down with a family and you say, put all your highest bills to your least expensive bills on a sheet of paper. Where would $67 fit? Would it be one of their most expensive, medium, or low third?
Low.
Lower.
Low.
Probably lower third, right? So if somebody had their bills written from highest to lowest, $67 a month would probably be one of the lower bills, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if they had to write down, let's write down everything that's most important to you in your life, right? And they had to list from top to bottom, highest priority to least priority. Where do you think their family would fall in there?
Highest priority.
Baseball card,
Hopefully.
baseball card, AT&T, cell phones,
Uh-huh.
right? They got to go to the casino, got to buy a case of beer, right? All that
That's
stuff.
up there.
You know, where does family fit?
Top priority.
Number 1
Yeah,
for most
one.
people, right? So what's funny though is their families are number 1 for them, okay? But to protect their family doesn't even have to be the most expensive thing. In fact, most people are putting more money to AT&T than they are to protecting their family. So the point is, what's nice when I sit down with the clients and they have to enroll into the benefits, they don't have no life insurance, I'm perfectly comfortable with enrolling them at $67 a month. And I know I'm not taking any cheese out of their macaroni, if you know what I mean. Right?
Mhm.
So $67 a month is how much a year? Times that by 12, it's $804. Times 12 is 804, okay? That is what they pay a year. So when someone pays $67 a month, they pay $800 a year. That's the average client. The average client for us pays $800 of annual life premium. So this is called ALP. ALP. You'll hear this term a lot. ALP, ALP, ALP. How much ALP did you do for the week? How much ALP is your team at? ALP is the annual premium that the client pays. So $67 a month is about $800. So what we say is the average client pays $800 ALP each sale. So this week we did what? We did 3 sales, and each one was for $800 ALP. So this week we did what? $2,400. Make sense? Okay. All right. So it's just some terminology there. And I bring that all to light because now, if you do 100 presentations, how many sales should we make?
30.
30. You got it. So that'll give us 30 sales. And if we make 30 sales and the average ALP is 800, then what's that equal?
24,000?
grand.
24.
Yes, 24,000 ALP. And that will be over these 2.5 months, right? So basically over a 3-month time frame. Now, what's interesting, guys, in order to get promoted from an agent to a supervisor is they have to be able to do 24,000 ALP over 90 days. That's the number that you got to hit. Well, what's cool is if you do 10 presentations a week and you do that consistently for 10 weeks, pick your head up, you're going to have 100 presentations. If you have 100 presentations, you should also have about 30 sales. And if they're all average, you hit your 24,000, you're right there. So the path is right there. It's all math right in front of us to go out there and knock out. So what's cool now is your first 2 to 3 weeks were in training, but now we have the next 2 to 3 months. That's when we actually get these 100 presentations under our belt. That's actually where we gain that confidence and we get a lot more comfortable is during these first 100 presentations, during your first 3 months. Now, your career doesn't even get started until you do 100 presentations. So the saying is that you didn't even get started until you give 100 presentations. So like, let's say if somebody was like, you know what, I did like 30 presentations. They're like, I'm not comfortable with this. This isn't for me. This isn't for me. I'm not comfortable, right? Say, well, remember when we told you you're not going to be comfortable? How many presentations? If you did 100, maybe, but how many presentations? We pull up the report. We find out this person did 33 presentations. So I'm like, well, you probably right now, you probably feel like 70% like unsure. You probably feel about 30% comfortable. You know why? Because you only did about 30 presentations. So if somebody ever was like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm uncomfortable, well, of course, I thought you have to do 100 presentations before you're 100% comfortable. And if they wanted to like quit, if you want to quit before you give 100 presentations, then I will say that you're not quitting anything at all. You're like, you actually, in order to quit something, you actually got to get started, and then you can quit at. But this ain't quitting. You didn't even get started yet, you know. So giving those 100 presentations is so nice because not only is it going to get you the comfortableness that you need to, but if you do them right, 3 months from when you get off on your own, you should also be knocking on the door for your promotion. How crazy is that? So where are we at? We're in April right now, April. So you'll get trained up April. Let's just say May. We'll use May, okay? So you train in April, May, June, and July are the 3 months. So you go out there May, June, and July, and over these 3 months, you give 100 presentations. At the end of these 3 months, you'll have all the numbers that you need. And after July, you can be promoted to a supervisor going into August. So then the last 5 months of this year, you can start building and growing into a supervisor and basically be putting yourself in position to, by the beginning of 2022, you could be promoted to the manager. So you could literally crush these first 3 months. And you don't really ever got to crush it. Just do 24,000. Just so you guys know, I came into the company back in 2008. June will be my 13 years. I got trained in June, and then July, I got to go off on my own. They gave me leaves. I was able to go off on my own. I ended up doing 24,000 that month and just getting promoted that month. I also brought 10 people in that month as well. So I'm out there, I was busy. And I had to drive to all my appointments, and they were 2 hours from my house.
Oof. Kudos.
So that was my deal. And I was my first month, so I couldn't even know what I was doing that well. I couldn't have been that really good. It was my first month. All I knew was I just knew like kind of what my trainer told me to do. And I just went out there and just did it at the highest level. But where I came from before, I never got a lead. So I couldn't believe that they had leads here. I just went crazy with them. So anyways, that 24,000 that I'm talking about over the 90 days that you could do it your first month and just get it done with and move on. So because soon as you go from an agent to the supervisor, you're done with the agent. It's on to the next one. Now it's on to the supervisor. And when you met, then now to go from a supervisor to a manager, I'll go over that with you guys here today. But once you go from the supervisor to a manager, you're done. No more supervisor stuff. It's on to the next one. It's on to the next one. It's on to the next one. And we keep growing. So it's like, how long do you really want to mess around at the agent level? How long do you really want to mess around at the supervisor level? They promoted me to a supervisor. That month I brought in 10 people. And I run and crushed it again. So in July, got promoted after 1 month to a supervisor. August of 2008 was my first month as a supervisor. It was my only month as a supervisor. People say, Tommy, what did you do when you were a supervisor? So I don't know. I was only a supervisor for 1 month. You know what I did when I was a supervisor? I stopped being a supervisor. If I'm a supervisor, what do you recommend I do? Stop being a supervisor. Go be a GA. That's what I did. Sorry.
What if you brought people in? Like you got people to work for the company?
Recruited them.
Okay.
Yeah. I recruited my team because basically what they showed me at the beginning is they were like, so, you know, if you're able to have 10 people and they all do average numbers, 2,000 a week, your team's going to do 20,000. And if you can get a team to do 20,000, you'll be making $200,000 a year. I'm like, what?
That's the goal.
You want me to get 10 people to come here and they don't have to cold call, prospect, they set the appointments, and then they get paid residual income for the rest. So I got to get 10 people to make residual income for the rest of their lives and help people. And then if I get 10 people to do that, I'm going to make $4,000 a week. Like for $200,000 a year, I can get 10 people to do anything. You name it. Like if we got Saturday morning, I'll get 10 people to go jump out of an airplane and go skydiving with me. Especially if you put $200,000 on the line, they'll jump out of an airplane. I'll get them to do that, right? This ain't jumping out of an airplane. This is just making money, residual income, and helping people out. I could get 10 people to do that, you know? So my first month, I brought in like 10 personal recruits from friends, family members, the fullback that played my fullback high school football team. My fullback came aboard. Casey Kunash was one of my first recruits in my first 3 or 4 months here. My dad used to do mortgages back in the day. So he called up 3 of his mortgage buddies and one of them was selling suits. So that was an easy one, you know, like, so you have to be resourceful. And the thing is, these 10 people, they had to get in their car and they had to drive to my office. And if they weren't within a 20-mile radius of my office, I couldn't recruit them. It was a pretty tough gig to convince somebody to drive 2 hours for an interview or something like that. So I had to get 10 people in the hard way. You guys can bring in anybody from anywhere in this country and they don't got to drive anywhere. Think about that. Virtual.
So you think,
I didn't have Instagram back in the day. So this is all word of mouth. I went through my cell phone, which was not even close to what it was today. It was like a BlackBerry, this beat up BlackBerry. And I scrolled through this thing and I called everybody. Hey, I just started a new career. Hey, I just started a new career. Hey, I just started a new career. I'm going to be getting into management. One of the first things they need me to do is they need me to find 2 or 3 other people to join our team. You know, we're at a huge point of growth right now. These people are going to be earning professional income. They got to be people. Do you know anybody who's looking to make professional income that wants an amazing opportunity? And they'll either say, how about me? You know, and I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't even think to ask you because I knew that you were working at the hospital, you were working down at the bakery, or you were working at the gym. I didn't want to step on any toes. Be honest, you're probably one of the first people that I would even ask, but I didn't want to step on any toes. But I know you would probably know somebody. That's why I figured. But if you're serious, oh man, I think you could really do well. I'd love to be. Plus, we get to work together, man. Are you serious? Hey, let's get you in. I can't make any promises. Let's get you in for the interview first and see if we can take it from there, right?
Is that the recruiting script?
Is that the recruiting script? No, it's not, but I can give it to you real quick. So the recruiting
Sure.
script is like this. It's like, so Gina, you helped us out, we're at the restaurant or we're at the retail place or wherever, you helped us out really well today. I just want to thank you for your help. And I think, to be honest, now that I've met you, I think you would really excel and you would do really well at what we do. And then if they don't say, well, what do you do? Usually it'll be like, oh yeah, they'll say, what do you guys do? And especially if you're dressed decent, if you're with a couple other people, if you got some like Louis shades on with something cool going on, you know what I mean? Like usually me, I'm wearing this. I wear this. I like to hop out of a Maserati with like flip flops and a tank top and just to throw people at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. I'm just throw them off. They're like, what's this guy possibly do? But what you have a couple of nice little things, let them know. Like if you have a couple. So anyways, then they'll ask you, what do you do? And then that's when you say, oh, here's the script, right? We do consulting in the financial services industry. We help people protect their assets through life insurance. It's fun. We get to help people. We get to make money, and we get to help people. We get to. I think the last thing is help people. So it's fun. We get to make a lot of money, and we get to help people at the same time. Do you like helping people? That's why you want to end with helping people, because then you say, do you like helping people? And then they'll say, yeah. And I'll say, well, you want to know what? I know that I know our hiring manager at the office, and if you'd be interested, I can get your information to the hiring director. And the next time that they're doing some hiring, I can even maybe have them give you a call. How's that sound? And they'll be like, oh yeah, that'd be great. Every time.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So, if you're at a restaurant or retail or just anywhere, you could kind of lead in with that and just say, hey, I think, you know what, man, I think you would be really good at what we do, and then when they say, well, what do? You say, we do consulting in the financial services industry. We help our clients protect their assets through life insurance. And it's really fun. We get to make a lot of money. And the best thing is we're helping people. We get to help people. Do you like helping people? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, you want to know what? I actually know the hiring director at the office there. And next time we're doing some hiring, I could get your information, get it over to the hiring director. Next time we're doing some hiring, I could maybe have them reach out and give you a call. How's that sound? Can't make any promises though, but I could at least get your information, get it over to them, right? And I'll say, how about this? I'll text you over my information right now. And how am I going to text you my information? I've got your number. I got your number, right? So you never want to go like this. Hey, you know what? Give me your name and phone number. That's like pretty, you could say, give me your name and phone number, but I have a more sly way of going about it. I'm like, how about this? I'll text you over my name right now. What's your information? I'll text it over to you right now. Instead of me saying, give me your name and number, I say, let me give you mine. And the only way I can give you mine is text over. You have to give me, you got it? Right? Okay, cool. So, that's how I would go about doing it. And then what you want to do from that point is all you want to do is get them into the virtual company overview. Right now it's about a half hour. We're shaving it down to 12 minutes. So it's going to be a 12-minute video. Everything I went over in a half hour in that video, I'm going to be going over it in 12 minutes. I don't know. I still don't know exactly how I'm going to do all this. But I'm just going to squeeze it in. I'm going to talk faster. I'm going to cut some of the stuff out and get right down to it. But for you, if you wanted to bring somebody in, they don't have to sit through a whole half hour. All right, what's this company about, Steve? You're making me sit here a whole half hour. I could have watched Seinfeld with this making me watch The Office. I'd rather watch The Office than this, right? So now you say, listen, it's 12 minutes. You got 12 minutes for me? You're my best friend. You're my cousin. You're my uncle, right? My uncle told me to give you a call. You got to at least put 12 minutes in for him, right? Whatever it is, 12-minute videos. This is going to be quicker for you guys. So the key is get them on that video. And then afterwards, if they're interested, they fill it out. And then they send it in. And then from there, we interview them. We take it from there, and we can't guarantee everybody's going to, come in and want to get hired. But anyways, that's a little bit of a tangent as well. So we went on the personal recruit script, but that's good for you guys to have. That's worth it. Well worth it. I'll go over that any day of the week. So this will really help you guys. So like when I started in July, I hit the ALP numbers and I brought 10 people in. In August, I brought 10 more people in. And before you know it, I picked my head up and I had a big team built. So that's how I got into the business, and catapulted me right to a manager. I was a manager in my 4th month. We did over 70,000 and just continued to grow from there. So now, why don't I just go over that story? I'll just stay on the story for a minute. So let's just finish that story. So I came in June, trained, July, wrote the business, recruited the people, got promoted. August, brought 10 more people in, wrote more bunch of business, got promoted again. And then I spent the next 6 months as a manager. After 8 months with the business, it was March of 2009, my 8th month in the business, I got promoted to a general manager. So I finally got that general manager promotion. I was working really hard for those first 8 months, and team hit the numbers and we got promoted. So at the end of my first full year, I made about $120,000. At the end of my second full year, I was a general manager. I made over $200,000. So my first year as a general manager, I couldn't have been that good of a general manager, but I made over $200,000. In my 3rd year with the company, I promoted my manager to a general manager. So you can visualize this real quick. I'll just put this over here, like in this little area. Okay. So imagine there was me. Okay. And then there was Casey and Matt, and they were both GAs, and Casey had an SA, Matt had supervisors, right? And then I was what? I was the MGA. And this was my 2nd year. At the end of my 2nd year, guess what Casey did? Casey got promoted to an MGA. Matt got promoted to an MGA. So I became their RGA, right? So I was Casey's RGA, I was Matt RGA, but plus I was still my own MGA. So I always ran my own MGA team. And then every now and then I would develop Steve as an agent, and Steve would become an SA, and I keep working with him. We'd set our goals, and then boom, we get you to the GA. And now I'm an MGA, you're the GA. We're working together. And then that finally comes that day, man, that big day. It's like, I don't even know what you'd call it. If you're in the mafia, it's like becoming a made man or something like that. So he finally gets to the position where he goes from the GA to the MGA, right? And you're going to now run your own MGA team. I'll become your RGA, but I'm still going to maintain my own MGA team that I'm going to keep running. And then one day Alex gets promoted and now she's on my MGA team, and we keep rocking together. And then she ends up getting promoted to an MGA. Now I'm your RGA, but I'm still running my own MGA team. So that's how it's always been for me for like the last 12 years. I keep running my own MGA team, which is great because an MGA running their own MGA team should make $200,000 to $300,000 if you're average. So I keep running my MGA team, making $200,000 or $300,000 off my MGA team, but plus I'm an RGA over here, an RGA over here, an RGA over here. You make $100,000 to $200,000 off of each MGA that you manage. So that's how after 3 years, I became an RGA and I made $512. And after 4 years, I was an RGA and I had 5 MGAs I was working with. Well, 4 MGAs plus myself was the 5th one. And I made $937 in my 4th year with the company. 2012, right? I was 28 years old. Couldn't believe it. And it was all from this process of just that I'm going to go over with you guys today. I didn't even really go over. We kind of went here and there and everywhere, but we'll take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to go over numbers. Okay. So just take a good break. Sometimes I go over numbers and I see people's like brains fall out of their ears. They're like smoke's coming out of their heads. There's like You know, so some people's eyes start glazing over and they start like, you know, like drool coming out of their mouth. so no, we'll take a good break, get some coffee, whatever. I might even get, you don't even want me to get coffee, but if I get some coffee, I'll be bouncing around in this room like crazy. But we'll take a break. We'll get back and we're gonna go over numbers and do a whole path, the math behind the path of how we're gonna get all this stuff done. But really beyond all this, I'm just going to touch base on just like the beyond all this. So like I was telling you, the first 3 months now, we talked about the first 2 to 3 weeks of training class. First 2 to 3 months is what? Hitting our 100 presentations. But what's cool is if you do it right, you can also be knocking on the door and getting promoted right at the same time as that. So there's 4 milestones that you want to hit. And it'll take 13 months to really complete the cycle, no matter who you are. So the first milestone is becoming an agent. So that's getting through training and no longer being a trainee, and now you're an agent. So that's like becoming a butterfly. Like, you know, you're in a cocoon, now you got your wings. So right now you guys are like in the cocoon, and right when you get released, you're going to get your wings. Okay. So that's your first milestone. The second milestone is when you hit your 100 presentations. And we already know why we want to hit those. Now, some people can hit their 100 presentations faster than others. It's just how many reps you're doing per week. If I do 20 presentations a week and Steve does 10, it's going to take me 5 weeks. It'll take him 10 weeks. So that's a gauge. Now that's your second one, is hitting 100 presentations. And how fast do you want to go from 0 to 100? Just like Drake says, real quick, right? 0 to 100, real quick.
Real quick.
So, and then after that, your third milestone is when you get promoted. When you get promoted. So the first type of promotion is when you get promoted into leadership, but some people never get into leadership. Some people stay and as a individual producer, and they go and break records on those regards. And either way are great. Career paths, either way are great. So if you want to get promoted, there's 2 ways. You can get promoted into leadership, and that's when you'll go from an agent to an SA to a GA to an MGA, and there's those promotions. But there's also promotions when you're an agent, because an agent starts out with a 60% contract, but the more that you do as an agent, you can get promoted to 65% contracts, 70% contracts, even 75% contracts, and earn promotions on the agent. So whenever you get your first promotion, whenever that is, that's another milestone. And then your fourth milestone is when we receive our first renewal check. And at that point, you completed all 4 milestones, And it takes 13 months to get your first renewal check.
Is that
that's
no
really
matter
what we-
how fast you finish your 100 presentations or anything?
Yeah, because in order for a true renewal to happen, the policy has to renew into the second year. So whenever we get paid this money, I'll go over this a little bit today, but not in tons of detail. But whenever we get paid this money, that's all first year commissions that are being paid to us. And then if you get paid on the policy during the first year, that's all first year commissions being paid to you. In the second year, as soon as it reaches month 13, now you're going to get paid every single month in a renewal off of that policy. So the first month is just going to be renewals on just your first month of business. So 13 months from now, you're just going to get 1 month of renewals. But 14 months from now, you're going to get 2 months that have been paid out. And then 3 months get paid out, and then 4 months. And then it just starts becoming a crazy snowball effect. Because when you get into management, now it's not just the policies that you written, but it's the policies that you written plus all of your team. So the percentage when you're an agent is 3% renewal. But when I'm a supervisor, it's 4%. When I'm a manager, it's 5%. When I'm a general manager, it's 7% renewal. So when I write personal business, I'm going to get it 7% renewal on that, versus when I was an agent, it was only 3%. Plus, not only did I write business, but I had my whole team write business, and I get a 2% renewal on all of my team when I'm an MGA. Yeah. So now this month, your team did 20,000 a week. You did 80,000 this month, right? So you're going to get a 2% renewal on that for the rest of your life on this month, right?
As long as they keep paying and renewing, we keep.
Yes. The only way that obviously you're only going to get a renewal on if it renews. So the policy still has to be enforced and that money got to be paid every month. And what I explained to the class the other day is that the longer that our clients have the policies, the more valuable it becomes to their family. Because if somebody's 30 and they take this coverage out and then they pay for it for $100 a month, they pay for it for a year, right? And then they cancel the coverage. They just paid $1,200, right? And what do they got? Nothing, right? So that's still, though, they might cancel, like I got to cancel, even though I'm going to lose that $1,200. But now they keep it for 2 years, they pay $2,400. Now do they want to cancel? That's even harder to cancel. Catch them 5 years down the line. If you have a client for 5 years, do you think they're going to cancel? They just paid $6,000. Oh, by the way, if they do cancel, they just lost that $6,000 they put in. They get nothing for it. And if they want to go somewhere else and get the coverage, now they're 5 years older. They're going to cost them so much more for less coverage. So the longer they have it, the more it doesn't make sense for them to cancel what they have from you. So that's why it's such a strong residual income that you guys build, that we build in this business, in this industry, is because of the nature of the product that it is. See, I have friends that are in the insurance industry too, but they're in the property and casualty side of business. All of them call me all the time and they keep wanting to get in with us. Like, I got to get into life insurance, man. I've been doing this for 12 years. I got to get no residual income. There's no residual income in that. Look it up online. The average person switches car insurance every 3 years. There's no incentive for me to keep it. It's not like, oh, I'm older and I switch, it costs. It's life insurance. The older when you switch, it's going to cost you more. Car insurance, I could switch, get a better rate. 3 years later, get a better rate. 3 years later, get a better rate. 3 years later, get a better rate. And I'm going to go, I love you, Joe. I appreciate you. But if this company's going to do it for $100 less, that's my family. You know, like, I got an obligation to my family. I got to take care of my family. So as much as I love geckos, like, I have a gecko myself. I love geckos. They're my favorite animal, but my family gets an extra $100 if I go with the, whatever this is over here. I'm going to start rooting for emus. Okay. I'm going to be an emu now instead of and then if they're not, I'm going to go be a duck, right? Whatever else so the whole point of it is that's what it's about. So that's what people do. With life insurance, they don't do that. What's cool. So especially with us and with you, and if you have a good client base and a good presentation and everything that goes along with it. So I could go on and on and on, but we got to take a break, because what I'm going to go over next is we can't just roll right into it. We need a break. So let's take 15 minutes, whatever time it is, just add 15. Let's go 2:30, 2:33. We could do 2:33. We'll hop back on 2:33. And I will try and crush this in less than an hour. If you guys, we already did some of the numbers. If you guys can just run through numbers and hang on, we'll go do this in a half hour and rock it, okay? I'll drink some coffee and get ready to go. All right, I'll clean the board. I'll see you guys in 15 minutes and we'll knock out the rest of today. You
All
guys
right,
are doing
thanks,
good
Mr.
so
Vina.
Hey, thank you, guys.
I do have a quick question for you, Sabrina.
Yes, sir.
For the team building being like RJs and whatnot, are we responsible to always build our own teams?
Yeah.
Or are we provided with teams?
Oh.
I'm just unsure of how the.
Oh, yeah. So this is, you build your own team here. No one's going to build it for you. And you know what? I wouldn't even really want anybody to build my team for me anyway. You know, if you're going to be a coach and you had to coach a team, would you want your players handed to you, or would you want to go pick them out yourself? You know? Yeah. So
Thank you.
you got it. You know what? I'm gonna find out. Let's go, me and you.
In the kitchen.
We have a coffee machine. There's a coffee area over there. Yeah, I'll show you.
From over here, it's very obviously brown. No, this is like a really old one I know. Oh, a passport? I just, so Matt tells me, hey, we're gonna be Cancun. I said, oh, so on the first. On the first, I went to the post office and sent my stuff out. Okay. And I had to rush everything, and I hope it gets here before then, but. The first? It's 4 to 6 weeks, right? Yeah. So you're cutting. Yeah, so it's real close. And I was excited? Dude. Yeah. Expedited is 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. Oh, that's expedited? Yeah. 10 to 12 is more. But my brother got his in December, and he got his back in 4 weeks, and he didn't. When, December? He didn't expedite it. Right. So. Wait, do you have yours? No.
You've never gotten one before though, like, have you ever had one, or did you have to renew it?
I had mine when I was under 16, so I didn't just renew it. I had to like do it completely new. And it expired forever. So.
Not sure. Yeah, I'm thinking the door. Well, cause I remember too, I brought, before you bought all those, I brought my own box, and they're not in there, and I was like, ooh, thank you. No, but I was like, wait, like, 'cause I wanted that the other day, I was like, I remember bringing the whole box, and I'm like, I don't even know if I drank any of them, like, I don't know where they went. Are you coming?
So how do you feel about it?
I feel like a lot of this is, I've heard so much about it already that I'm like, okay, this is a lot of like good review, like additional information, like little things here and there. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's new. But I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. You know, for a little bit there, it's almost like, is this real? Because although I grew up in Chicago, recently just moved back to New York, so I'm trying to reestablish myself in the area.
Yeah.
I stumbled across this, and it's like, is this actually genuine? And obviously, the more time we spend here, the more we interact with everyone, obviously. But yeah, it's still, I'm still almost in like shock a little bit. Like, this is actually genuine.
yeah, at first I was like, I don't want to work 12 hours a day. And then I'm like, well, it's not all work, you know, a lot of it's like getting stuff set up and like doing
It's not-
preparation.
Yeah, it's not so much like I'm gonna come and crank out, you know, a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
You know, after this initial, I mean, we're just kind of at home and working at our own pace and.
It's a lot different than, like you said, it's not a 12-hour shift. I'm not serving for 12 hours. That's a lot. This, I feel like 12 hours will go by really quick because just going through a presentation takes you over 10 hours.
And that's the thing, and it's not an impact. I mean, when we're really exercising the minds, you know, our memory other than that.
Yeah.
There's no heavy lifting or we have to do technical work or anything like that where we're getting fatigued and like, you know, failing to produce. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think, I'm grateful. I mean, if everything works out.
Oh,
Very excited to reestablish myself back in Chicago after this year of insanity that we've all gone through.
Yeah. So you said you moved to New York for a bit?
So I lived here originally, and then I went to Long Island for a little bit, just for work. I was in the imaging business, worked as a contractor for Nikon.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when the pandemic and everything hit hard, the portion of the business that I managed was not deemed essential because we did refurbishing, not the servicing portion. And obviously refurbishing is just for sales to customers for imaging products, where the service side, you know, police officers, stock activating cameras and things of that nature. So we were deemed essential. So unfortunately, my position dissolved. And flash forward, you know, 5 years, here we are. Yeah, honestly, I wish I came back to Chicago much sooner, because that year of just wasting away on Long Island put me in much more detriment than I ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
What can you do?
But hey, hopefully this helps you bounce back, get reestablished here.
I mean, everyone's so positive. It's almost like as long as you just follow the instruction, it's almost like they're telling you, just do what we tell you, and you will make serious money.
Yeah. And with everyone being so positive, you can't help but be positive too.
I mean, you hear the announcements of how much people are taking home a week and like how excited about it is to like grow your business and work together.
Yeah.
That is so rare in a company where people actually like you with a face and not like, yeah. It's like they're okay with coming in and they're, you know, they're actually accepting of the situation, not just mad about it. Yeah, I'm grateful. We'll see what happens.
Very excited about this. And I definitely want to get a lot of my family and friends to know it because my brother, I don't know if you see all the people who like to like last summer how pools, everyone wanted to get like pools. My brother was going and buying up pools and reselling them on eBay
Was he
and
making money?
Facebook.
Killing it.
Yeah, he was making $200 or $300 off his pool because people were paying whatever he put the pool at.
Because it was lower than buying a new one anyways.
Yeah, so he likes to do all these quick money, those little things. I'm like, hey, dude, you make so much more doing this. Like, yeah, you gotta train a little bit, but it's gonna put you way better off.
Right.
He's like, I don't know. And so like, I just keep telling him about it.
It's like after hearing what Mr. Vina just said, it's almost like, because I don't have too much more of a network here, so it's almost like building my team is going to be a lot of work. So I'm gonna have to go and canvas and try to like find candidates opposed to, you know, most of my friends either established or just kind of one that's not.
Yeah. They utilize a lot of social media, like you said, like a lot of managers post on their Instagrams constantly. They use Indeed a lot, they pay for money.
So they're paying for the posting, because that's how I started the process. Because I never actually applied for this position. My resume was just promoting. And I applied for another agent position with a different company. And then the link for the presentation for the Vina agency just magically appeared, and I had no idea how. Yeah. It was very strange. I mean, did you end up direct applying or did somebody contact you?
I know one of the managers,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I got
that's-
brought it that way.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Because then at least, you know, somebody who is a veteran to a point can kind of help you understand a little more, aside from like the normal training, but you know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the everyday stuff that we're gonna be struggling with, you know, not the general picture.
I had to be talked into it though. I was like, sales is not my thing. But then they're like, you're literally doing sales right now. It's just.
Then you're
felt
selling
like-
me to get out of here.
I was doing loans at a credit union. And so literally I was doing sales, not called sales. And I was
With
like,
no commission, no.
exactly. Or I would make slight commissions on debt protection, I sell loan loans. So I would make $15 a month off off a month of selling protections for $400,000 worth of loans. So I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me. I can definitely go and sell life insurance.
So I'm protecting $400,000 and making 15 off it. That sounds right.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, so I was like, oh. I mean, now that you say like I'm basically doing sales, yeah, you're right. I'm just confused.
It's funny, like hearing the guys this morning, like, I used to be a server at TGI Fridays. You know, it's, I almost think about that is exactly how I'm gonna have to meet people in the crew.
Oh, yeah, it's the best. I honestly feel like sometimes that's one of the best ways because you're seeing someone's work ethic and then you're kind of like,
It's shitty work, so if they can shine it back, they're probably going to excel.
oh, yeah. And it's like, you can make it out of this place. I'm sure it's not as fun as you make it seem.
Like they said, you come out suited up with a couple guys or something like, you know, you're better than this money. You know, I mean, you see what we're working with us. And most people, I'm assuming, I mean, of course, the script helps a little bit as well. I just like, we don't have to cold call and
Yeah.
chase leads.
And that's when my brother was like, well, I don't want to do that. I'm like, dude, you're not even cold call. These people want to be contacted. Like,
That's the most amazing part of it. They've already submitted an agreement to basically be contacted. We're not soliciting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that and the residual income is probably what turned me out the most, the fact that I can control, you know, how much I'm putting in, which equals how much I'm getting out.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait to actually start doing presentations.
Man, it's the greatest source of anxiety and, you know, the source of excitement, because I know if that is done properly and I do it well, then I'm going to excel.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's that forefront of, you know, do this right, and the pressure's on.
I really just want to get through this 10 presentations because I didn't realize how true it really was until he said it. When like you get like a little bit more confident in each one. When I was doing loans, it was like my first time doing it. They're like, all right, here, you have to do at least an hour a day.
Oh, so that was like your quota. We want you to pump at least one.
Yeah, my manager was like, I don't care if it gets approved or not, like, you just need to do at least like this many. And she was just like pushing me to get as many done. And then by the end of like a month, I was like, oh yeah, this is super easy.
And so the one a day seemed like nothing.
Yeah, and then it ended up always being more than one. I had to do 3, 4, 5. So like, I'm excited. I just want to get going because then I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm ready to go at the end of the week.
Right, right. Yeah, just go as hard as we can and just cover as much ground as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree though. Like, even this morning, we were doing just the phone script and just even repetitions and it felt much better.
Yeah.
I actually tried to put it.
I just need to do that last 75%, like to do analysis. And once I get that down,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be super
Is this your
excited.
first day?
my first day. I've been here a couple times and I lived here. It's my first trade.
First training night? I didn't know we could do Zoom.
I'll tell you this, it's always an option, but speaking with you enough, that we're here is much better for us.
You
because
learn a lot faster.
that and the relationship we build with the managers who are here, there's an actual face to a name. Not that these guys don't, but there's a live human in front of them opposed to just a figure.
Yeah. Because you're gonna get a lot of extra information talking to people when you walk out of the meeting or just overhearing other people's questions, like when you were asking about the team earlier. I'm like, I'm gonna listen, just hear what you have to say. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, I mean, the main point here is for us to just see and absorb. And, you know, everyone has said, we're never going to get all this immediately.
It's like I have it memorized. It's just like when I'm talking, I get so like caught up, you know. And today when we're practicing, I'm like, oh, I just missed a word, and then I think about it. I'm like, God damn it!
like the
I have to
timing,
restart it.
the timing pause to like find
Yeah.
rebuttal and then to make it seamless. I think that's the hard part, right? To make it seem like you can actually start to finish verbatim without sounding like you're fumbling with something or you're.
Because when you're thinking about it, your pauses always seem longer to yourself than they do to other people. So if you need to take a second, just pause, breathe,
That
keep
is-
going.
that's
They're
true.
probably not gonna be like, what is this spirit doing?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a great question. I think we're all experienced, and I'm pretty sure they understand that. But from our own perspectives, we're the hardest on ourselves, right?
Okay.
Like, this has to be perfect. You might screw up, like, you stutter step, and you're like, okay, just reset yourself.
When I was studying it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have till Monday to come back and I'm like,
So it was last week, he was like, oh, we're gonna check in just to make sure you're good. I'm like, oh,
Did
Jesus.
you guys do the licensing recently? Yeah, that was intense.
Honestly, I'm finding the script to be more difficult than the class
Honestly,
itself.
me too, but just the licensing, I was so stressed. I'm like, there's so much info. And then it was fine.
So do you even trust the information that they give you? It's like, cause it may, just like college, when you go there, you study something, bullet points, and then you get there and the information is like, but not.
Yeah.
You know, and then you could have
Oh, yeah.
narrowed that down for me a little bit.
I took a lot of like practice exams and I was really like freaked out.
Yeah.
Because I had to drive from Pennsylvania here to take the exam because I
You're a
was,
resident.
yeah. And so I was like, all right, it's Monday. I have to drive down. I have to take my
You live
exam
here?
Tuesday. I'm moving here until June.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I'm moving here, which is why I got the resident one.
Are you
But
going back to Virginia? Like, are you staying here till June?
no, I'll go back to Pennsylvania on like the end of the week or something, or the beginning of next week. I haven't decided yet.
So you're like staying with your boyfriend this year?
Yeah, so I'll be here for a week, maybe more. We'll kind of just play it by ear.
No, just see what the phrase and like, how much we
Yeah,
get.
I don't really have any commitments to like.
Well, it's nice. I mean, at least you're not having something that's pulling you one way or the other.
You like it in Chicago?
You like it better here than. I haven't got to experience that enough because everything. The times I lived in, everything was so close.
Go to our, yeah,
But I feel like
main ones in
Woo!
Vegas.
You guys taking a break?
you guys, are you getting your passport? Are you
Oh, dude, I'm-
procrastinating?
Passport?
Listen, miss,
Why?
I am trying.
You need to go like that.
It's a problem. I already went. There's no. I have a long story I could tell you about
How
what I did.
feel with my social security.
Dude, it's what I'm going through right now. Is
Oh, no.
classic my shit I do, you know. Like I had an appointment way back on, what was it? Probably like the 23rd
Mhm.
of March.
Yeah.
And it was on like the same day that I had to go get this Invisalign. So I was like, oh, like I'll just remake this appointment later. Like it's okay. And I remade it for like the day I'm back in Pennsylvania. And then the day, is this mic on? Can they hear me? Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Whoever's in the top right looks exactly like my math teacher. I'm not sure. just geeked me out a little bit. Nice to nice to meet you. But I was like, wow, this opportunity is attractive to anybody. But yeah, so you know, I made the appointment, missed it, remade it for like I think probably like the 28th of March, and then that was also the day I went back to Pennsylvania and like in the midst of trying to run back to PA, I didn't even think about it, and I was like at home. I was like, oh man, dude. So now I got to reschedule it again, and they're like, oh, like, you know, we'll have you know, like you're within like, you know, like it's not, it might not come in time, like the 4 to 6 weeks thing, like you're hoping on. They were like, you know, you might not get it, so I didn't even bother rescheduling it, and now I'm trying to do this whole urgent thing where you need to have like a death in the family, and pay like $500 and all this stuff like that.
Wait, isn't there
Just
like,
a fast track.
isn't there like the business one?
The business one, like a business emergency.
I think there is one for business.
See, I'm like learning. I called the department of whoever, right? And they like tell me online, like the only way you can do it is if you book your appointment within 2 weeks of your travel date. So I'm like, what are you telling me? I gotta wait till the 19th? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's a lot of trust, you know, to like wait till the 19th. He's like, and then when you do it within 2 weeks of your appointment, he's like, the appointment they will book you for has to be within 3 business days of your travel date. I'm like, what are you talking about? The 28th to the 31st? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's like,
Then you gotta make sure.
that's kind of close, yeah.
You gotta make sure you have your social security card, your birth certificate.
Oh, the Gatorade? Let's go. I need that right now.
Uh,
Yeah, and then he was saying like, now Marvin found me some website that's like literally telling me if I pay a flat fee of 500, enter all this info, so we'll see where this is going. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let me see. Is it on mute? Nope. Okay, it is not. Okay, all right.
Explain on our conversation.
So you guys heard probably Vince over there. All right, so back to the numbers we went over, just to review them again. 10 presentations will get us 3 sales, 800 ALP each will get us 2,400 total ALP for the week. Now you can scale this up, scale it down, which means that you can get more than 10 presentations a week. So the first thing is increasing the activity. If you get more presentations, that means you see more people. If we see more people, what do you think is going to happen? You'll sell more people. If you sell more people, you get more ALP, right? Also, we can increase the percentages, the qualities, the ratios. So 10 presentations would give a normal average person 3 enrollments. But if you can, let's just say, get better at your skills and close down those ratios, increase your closing ratio to 4 or 5 or 6 out of 10, then you're going to do the same amount of work. You give 10 presentations, Steve gives 10 presentations, right? But Alex is closing 6 out of 10, Steve's closing 3 out of 10. Who did more work? Nobody. You did the same amount of work, but she ended up getting twice the results, right? Because of the ratio, the difference. Now, another thing we could look at is after that, ALP per sale. That's the next thing you can control. You'll notice that people who are in the business longer, they end up having higher closing ratios, but also they end up having higher ALP per sale. Just think about it in baseball. Someone who doesn't play baseball that much, they probably don't hit the ball as many times. But someone who plays baseball more, they're going to make more hits. But also someone who plays baseball more is not only going to hit the ball more, they're probably going to hit the bar further as well, right? So the ALP per sale is 800 on an average. But if you ask Gio what his average ALP per sale is, his is probably 2,000, 1,800, 2,000 ALP per sale. So you can increase your ALP per sale. And if you're closing she closes 6 and her 6 are 2,000, you close 3 and your 3 are only 800, you could see the difference in who did more work. Nobody. So we all both did 10 presentations. So now it starts to get even bigger numbers. So now on top of that, and that's it. So that you'd end up with a higher ALP per sale. Now on top of that though, what I wanted to go over is 2,400 ALP per week would be what we're showing here. For today's sake, everything we do moving forward, we're going to use, instead of 2,400 guys, we're going to use 2,000. So for all the examples that we use moving forward right now, we're going to use 2,000. Keep in mind now, this is going a little bit lower than what we should really be at. And I'd rather play with a little bit lower numbers anyways, if that makes sense. Like under promising yourself almost. So when an agent does this now, we'll talk about how an agent gets paid. The agent gets paid 2 ways. First, they get paid their commission. Second is bonus. Let's talk about the commission. First way we get paid is commission. The agent is at what? 60% contract. For your first 45 days, we are at a 50% contract with a 75% advance. After that, we get put on a 60% contract with a 65% advance. It's pretty much the same thing, but since it's only a short period of time, I mean, 45 days, I don't even go over that. So let's just go to the 60%. So 60% contract, okay, is what the agent is at. That is your commission rate. So the first way we get paid is what? Commission. We know the commission is 60%. 60% of what? Our production. 60% of our production. We produced 2,000 ALP. So 60% times 2,000 equals our commission. In this situation would be $1,200. That's the commission that you earned that week. Now, what they're going to do with your commission is they pay us 65% advance. Pardon my back, I keep turning around. Maybe I'll go this way or something. 65% advance. And that's what we get paid this week up front. So what do they advance us this week? 65% of our commission. We earned $1,200. You made $1,200. They're going to give you 65% of that commission this week. So this would be $780. That's what you got paid in your bank account for the week. So you say, okay, so they paid me $780, 65% of my commission. Where did the other 35% of my commission go? Okay, which would be how much money? There's still what? What's the difference between that?
420?
$420. $420. This goes to your back end. When the client pays their premiums every month, this is when they pay their premiums. It's actually going to pay you and clear out your accounts. And in month 9, 10, 11, and 12, that's when you'll actually start seeing this money trickle back into your paycheck. So just know that whenever you get your paycheck this week, it's 65% of your advance of your commission. That's just, you still have 35% that's still coming to you, and that gets paid out in the first year. So as long as that client makes their payments, you're going to get all of your commissions paid to you that year. And a lot of it starts coming in month 9, 10, 11, and 12. So it's like if you met a client today, you're going to get paid that advance this week. Then like a baby, 9 months later, that's when the other 35% will be coming out and get paid out to you. Now, that's in month 9, 10, 11, and 12. First year is over. The client pays again, and they pay 13 months, and that's now your renewals. That's now a renewal. So all the premiums paid in the first year, all that is just paying us our commissions. Once it hits second year, now we get paid on it, but we get paid renewals, and every single month, forever and ever and ever, we get paid renewals on that business. So keep in mind this is there, but for today, we'll just stay over here about what are we going to get paid this week, okay? What I recommend to do is I recommend to live off of your paycheck, not bonuses. Don't make bonuses part of your lifestyle. If you can live off of your paycheck and then use the bonuses for a bonus, and doing bonus type of stuff, bonus investments, bonus real estate properties for yourself, bonus stuff like that, that's where you can get into a real good situation for financially. Because now what's going to cause you to do is you're like, all right, well, if I need to make, $1,200 a week. I need to make $1,500 a week just so I could support my bills and my family, right? If I need to make $1,500 a week, and I know that if I write 2,000 ALP, right? 2,000 ALP is going to make me what? I need to do 4,000 ALP a week. And if I do 4,000 ALP a week, then I'll make, just in my paycheck, just in my commission, at least $1,500 a week, which is right around, what is that? $80,000 a year, close to that, something like that. I recommend to live off of this. And then now we get the bonuses and you could do bonus stuff with that. What happens though is people get so accustomed to living on the bonus, because watch what happens when I add this bonus into your pay. Watch what happens. People get so accustomed to living on the bonus and the pay together, it doesn't push them to thrive to do anymore. I don't need to write anymore. I got my bonus coming. And what people do, they'll write to what their paychecks, like they'll write to what they need to make their paycheck for, and then they'll kind of stop. It's that whole thermometer theory that people have. I don't know if you know the thermometer theory that they have out there, but Ed Mylett talks about it too. He says that people will kind of warm up and cool down based upon, a lot of time finances, like if Steve knows that he needs to have 10 grand in his bank account, and once he has 10 grand, he's cool. So but his bank account's at 6 grand, Steve's going to heat up. He's going to heat up and he's going to start rocking, and he's going to get that up to 10, maybe even 11. As soon as it gets to 11, guess what he's going to do? He's going to cool back down and probably spend that extra 1,000 on something at the mall and then go right to his 10, And if he heats up too much, he'll cool right back down. And if he cools down, then he heats back up and he stays at that. The thermometer just stays at that one temperature, And that's what a lot of people will do is like, if they come into the business and like, I need to make $3 grand a month. So they'll make $3 grand a month with the bonus, right? You need to make $3 grand a month without the bonus and let the bonus be extra, So I just want to urge you to try and do that when you plan out your game plan and everything, So let's go into the bonus real quick. All right. So next way is bonus. And the bonus is, it's a long, not even that complicated, but it's a long explanation that I'm going to kind of shortcut for us today. And I'm going to give you the actual cheat sheet for this. So the way we'll put it over here, if we can see it on the board pretty good. So I'll put it like right here. So if we do 4K, we'll go like this. This will be ALP over here, and this will be bonus over here for the month. So right here is if you do 4K, your bonus is 320. If you do 6K, your bonus is 610. If we do 8K, our bonus is 940. If we do 10K, the bonus is 1,300. And if we do 12K, it's 1,660. And here, for every 1,000 ALP over 12, if you plus 1, you're going to plus 200 on your bonus. $200. So once you hit 12,000, every 1,000 that you do over that, your bonus goes up by $200.
Just so I understand, and that bonus is at month 9, 10, 11?
No. So what we're going over now, this is your weekly bonus. Yep, that everybody earns. So everybody earns this from day one. So every time we get paid as an agent, every time you get paid as an agent, you're always going to get 2 pays. You're going to get paid a commission and a bonus. Okay. Now with the bonus is there's kind of like 2 sides to it. If you do really, really well and you have high quality, high retention, like you signed up 30 people and all 30 people all still have your coverage, you're 100% quality, then they will give you a bonus on your bonus. So you can get a 30% bonus boost as well for that. So let's say for the month you get a $1,000 bonus, but you're on a bonus boost, you're going to get a $1,300 bonus. So if you have high quality of business, you're going to get extra bonus on your bonus. Now, if you have low quality of business, the company will reduce your bonus. Instead of giving you your bonus, they'll give you 80% of it. Or if you have low quality, they'll give you 60%. And if you have even bad, they'll give you no bonus for the month. So, and it's on a monthly basis. It's on a monthly basis. So for 1 month, you have really high quality and your numbers are looking good. That month, you're getting 30% bonus boost, right? Somebody else, they have a bad month or whatever. They didn't do good quality of business and they lost a bonus for a whole month. So they don't even get a bonus. Well, the good news is we're not living off our bonuses, but that's not good because that means you don't have good quality. But point is, on the bonuses, guys, here's the numbers. And this is on a monthly basis. So if a whole month goes by and you do 4,000, then you know that month what it was your bonus, 320, right? The month goes by and you did 8 grand for the month, that you did 2,000 a week, then your bonus that month was 940. 12 grand, 1660, right? On a just a side note, doesn't really mean that much, but just so you know, the more that you do, the more of a bonus of it, a higher percentage of a bonus you get. So for instance, if I did 4K and my bonus was 320, this is 8%. But if I do 6K, my bonus is 610, what percentage is that?
10%.
That's like 10%, right? So I got a more percentage of a bonus of the business that I write, they're paying me out. 8K, 940, that's close to about 12%. 10K, 13, that's really easy, that's 13%. This is maybe, I don't know, 14%. So the more you do, the more percentage of a bonus you get off the business that you write, which is cool. Just as one point that out as a side note.
So are the bonuses then monthly or are they weekly? I'm a little confused.
Yes. So this is the explanation they told me first, and I had to ask them twice. They were like, the bonus is calculated monthly, but it's paid out weekly. I'm like, all right. So the bonus is calculated monthly, but it's paid out weekly. So what that means is this month, okay, for instance, this month, let's just say that this month I end up doing 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, and 2,000, just like on this thing up here. We showed 2,000, right? So let's say you do 2,000 a week, 4 weeks in a row. That's the month it's over. I did 8K. I know at the end of the month, my bonus is 940, right? Week 1, it's like a sliding scale. So it happens like week 1, my bonus is probably going to be like $100. Week 2, though, then my bonus is probably going to be like 240, you know? And then like week 3, the bonus is like 270, and week 4, it's like 300. You know, whatever these numbers add up to be. I bet it's just probably close though.
As long as it adds up 940.
What's that?
As long as it all adds up to be 940 for the month.
Well, yeah, what's going to happen is the more that you do every week, the more that your bonus is going to be each week. So it's going to get paid out weekly every week. So week 1, you know, week 1, if you do 2,000, what's your commission going to be? 780, right? Week 2, if I do 2,000, what's my commission going to be? 780. So every week I do 2,000, my commission is going to be 780, but the bonus grows. So the first week it's going to be like 100, second week it'll be 200, third week it'll be 300, fourth week it'll be, and it grows throughout the month. But when you, at the end of the month, no matter where you pick your head up, like I could rate 0 week 1, 0 week 2, 0 week 3, and 8K week 4. Guess what my bonus is going to be for the month? 940, 940. So either way you chop it up, it's just the way it is. Like whatever you do for the month, this is kind of like this is the number it's going to be. And however you got to your 8K, if it was 2 per week, if it was 1, 1, 1, and then 5, you know, whatever you did to get there.
So
You can
quick
write
question.
8K. Yes, go ahead.
So then in that case, if you're doing the 0008, for example, is your bonus going to be paid out in full on that 4th week, or does it get paid out the month after?
It'll get paid in full that 4th week when you did the 8K.
Cool.
The quantity you're building through the month.
Yeah, it compounds, but in that situation, nothing compounded because she was just at 0 all month and then she just dropped it. So either way though, yeah, you'll get it every single week. You get paid your bonus wherever you're at, you know, at that stage of the month. So to kind of finish up the lesson, because the question is, if I wrote 2,000, how much did I make for the week? We still didn't figure that out, right?
780.
We did. Yeah, we did. Go ahead. 780. That's what we made for the week, right? And we forget about the bonuses extra. Remember, we're going to try and do that, but let's go. So 780 is our paycheck, but we also get a bonus. So the way we figure the bonus would be is if I do 2,000 a week, how much is that a month?
8K.
About $8,000 a month. So we go over to our cheat sheet, and if I do $8,000 for a month, my bonus is
940.
940. So 940 divided by 4 would be how much per week? If I got 940 a month, then I got how much a week?
220, 30 something.
Does that seem right? 235? So it's 235 is the answer, okay? So if I got 235 a week, that means I got 940 a month. And the reason I got 940 that month is because I did 8K that month. So, and how did I get 8K? I did about 2,000 a week. So if someone's doing about 2,000 a week, whether I just do 8,000 one week and take the next 3 weeks off, what am I averaging? I'm still averaging 2,000 a week. So as long as I'm averaging 2,000 a week, then I'm averaging a bonus of 235 a week, okay? So the bonus is 235. Total income, 1015 for the week. That's how much you would make. Now, Gio always says if you take the ALP, cut it in half, that's your paycheck. So you cut the 2,000, cut it in half, it's pretty much about $1,000 right there. That was a really long way of us getting to the answer. I could have did this in 3 seconds, but we all worked at it together and hopefully making some sense for you. So one more time before we move forward. So we get paid 2 ways. The first way is commission. The way you figure your commission is you take your commission rate, 60% in this situation, times the ALP that you did. And that equals your what? Commission. That's how much money you make for the week. Now, when you get your commission, we get how much up front? 65% up front. So 1,200 is the commission in this situation. 780 is what you got paid this week in your paycheck. That's your what? Advance on commission. Then they take the other 35%, they put that into our back end, and that gets paid out to us when the clients what? Pay their premiums. We get those paid out, and that comes out 9, 10, 11, and 12 at the end of the year in those months. All right, that's that. The second way we get paid is bonus. And bonus, we just basically just said we're just going to use the cheat sheet and say whatever I do for the month, that's going to tell me my bonus. I divide that by 4, and that's what I average per week. This situation, 2,000 ALP is 8,000 a month. 8,000 a month is a 940 bonus. And we did 940 over the course of a month is $235 a week. So that's the bonus, and the pay was 780. So the total income was 1015. 1015. Okay, any questions on that? No?
I mean, it's a
What's that, Gina?
I was gonna say, so on top of the 1015, of course, you're also getting the back end paid out month 9, 10, 11, 12, right?
Yes. So on top of that, there's still $420 right there. Okay, this is huge. That is, see, this is what there's a guy with our company. His name is Mark Zipper. Mark Zipper, he wears these t-shirts that says #MLR, and he calls it the miracle of renewals. He's been retired for the company for 20 years. I went to the founder of our company, Bernard Rappaport, passed away in 2012. I went down to Texas and I got to go to his funeral. And the one night before the funeral took place, we went to dinner and with some legends. And then Mark Zipper came to dinner. I never met him before. First time I ever met Mark Zipper, you know. And he came to, and he was wearing these Louis Vuitton like loafers. And it's the first time I've ever seen Louis Vuitton loafers. I was like, "Whew, those things are sharp, you know? And he just starts talking about how he was this SGA. I was like, I don't even really heard of this guy before. Find out he's like this legend. He's the one who created the, you know, freedom of choice certificate and all that. But he's been retired with the company for 20 years now and still gets, you know, over $100,000 a month in residual income. He's living his best life down in Florida. I'll tell you that much, you know? But anyways, he said that he would always educate himself on these numbers and his team on these numbers so that they know that, like, when you work for the week and you do 2,000 ALP and you get paid $1,000, that's not what you got paid. Like, you still have so much more money coming to you, right? Let's take 3% of 2,000. What's the answer to that? What's 3% of 2,000? 60? 60, right? So that means each year now, you're going to make $60 a year in residual income off of that 2,000, right? Well, let's say that they have the coverage for 20 years, right? So 60 times 20 is what? $1,200. $1,200. So off that 2,000 now, we got paid 1,000 up front, another 420. So what's that equal? 1435. 1435. And then we got another 1,200 on top of that over the next 20 years coming to us. So what's that? 2635.
That's more ALP than you sold for the week.
That's more than the ALP. That's 100 and what is that? 130%. It's about 130%. You know. So that's why, you know, and there's companies. My dad used to sell insurance back in the day, and he worked for a company where they would pay him, his advance was zero. He'd earned $1,200 for the week, and he didn't get paid his $1,200 until the client paid 12 months. Right? So he literally had to wait a year to get a paycheck. Or he had to convince the client to pay a full year up front. You think getting $100 a month off of somebody's tough? Trying to just say, give me $1,200 up front. That's not an easy one to push. So my dad was like, it was tough, Tommy. He was like, just believe it was tough for me to do, but I did it. And I knew a year from now, I got this paycheck coming, which was a nice thing to know it's coming, but it didn't do nothing for me to help you eat dinner this week. So my dad would work during the day at the engineer. He was an engineer. And at night, he would literally like take me to baseball practice. After baseball practice, would drive and we'd stop at some house somewhere, and he'd go in this house and I'd sit on their porch or go inside or sit in his truck out front. He'd go in there and he'd try and sell him some insurance after practice. I swear, you know, like, no, I'm not kidding you. And then we come home for the night. So that's what happened. Now, the other side of the fence, my dad told me that they would pay me all the money up front. So if I got $1,200 commission, they'd give me 100% advance. So they would give me all $1,200 up front. And then he said, Tommy, you know what happened? If one of my clients' policies didn't get issued or something, they would end up charging me back all the money they paid me. And then I wouldn't get paychecks from the company for weeks until I cleared my account. So like what you guys do is like a hybrid. And he's like, this is great, actually. And this is before, when I started with the company, I went over with my dad, say, hey, Dad, what do you think it is? He's like, this is cool. This is like a hybrid from what my companies used to do. They give you those, but they also save some in the back end. If client does cancel, they won't take off the front end, but they might not give you your back end. Like, well, that's cool. At least they don't hurt your upfront paycheck off of that. And then the renewals and stuff. So just a little side note on that. So let's keep it moving here. Well, there's.
I'm sorry to interrupt one more time, but Indy had a question that she typed in the chat, and I just wanted to ask because I was curious. No, you're fine. Once the client dies, they are subtracted from the residual. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we can't get residual income off of that. What else got to be on the books and paying?
That's a good question, Indy. I had the same one.
Cool,
You
thanks.
guys want some blue juice? There's blue juice in there now. It's in the Gatorade thing. Yeah, me. So there was no coffee, so I went with it. So here we go. Some companies see this. Some companies will say, "Well, come work with us because we'll give you a 75%. I'll give you an 85%." Right? They might try and dangle these high contracts in front of you to make it seem like it's better, but then you got to pay for your leads. There's no bonuses, right? The advanced system's way different, and there's no residual income. There's no support. There's no leadership. There's no nothing. So 100% of nothing is what?
Nothing.
Nothing, exactly. I'll tell you this, man. I promise you, if there was something better out there, I'd be doing it. I would. I love this company. It's changed my life. But if someone came to me tomorrow and had something better, I would say, I appreciate everything you've done for me here. I got to go do this now. I got a family. Like, I'm not that dumb, So I promise you guys, if there was something better on this planet, I would be doing it. I don't know anything better. Like I told you, my first year, I made $120,000, more money than anybody family's ever made. My second year, I made over $200,000. Where's that possible? 2 years later, you make two. I don't even know where it's possible. And if somebody could show me where it's possible, I would listen. I honestly would. I'd listen. I'd take notes. I'd investigate. And if it was better, I'd go do it. And I would tell everybody here, let's go. Why would I lead everybody here down this path if I knew the path and it was better and easier for us over there? You think I like to do hard stuff just because I like to make my life hard for some reason? Over the last 12 years, I've done nothing but work with this company. This company pays me $22,000 a month in residual income before I even wake up. This is why I'm trying to get everybody on this, because I don't know anywhere else that you can do that. Okay. And if you wanted to live off of $22,000 a month, do you know how much money you'd have to save up in a 401k? Yeah, you have to put thousands a month. Well, I'll tell you, let's figure it out. Okay. You would have to have $8 million in a 401k. Call your financial advisor tomorrow, find the next talk show on TV, however you want to do it. Call anybody, ask anybody, go on financialadvisor.com, retirement.com, 401k.com, whatever you want to go on. Ask whoever you can call. I should call my financial advisor and get them live on a Zoom call one day and say, how much money would I have to retire with $20,000 a month? And the answer is going to be about $8 million. $8 million saved up. So today, if I had $8 million saved up, I can retire with 20 grand a month. Anybody, Alex, if you had 8 million, you could retire 20 grand a month, right? And how long did it take Alex to do that? Remember how long it took? 12 years. 12 years. So 12 years divided by 8 million is what? Or 8 million divided by 12, let's do it real quick. Take 8 million divided by 12 years. We'd have to save $666,666 a year. Divided by 12, we'd have to save $55,000 a month. So yeah, a couple grand. A couple grand a month. Every single month. Basically you're looking at 15 grand as like $14,000 a week. You'd have to save $14,000 a week every single week for the next 12 years. And if you did that, you can pick your head up. You have 8 million saved up. And if you did that, you can retire with 20 grand, right? But you can't have no fun for the last 12 years. You ain't gonna be able to make no money. You're gonna have to save it all. Can't go on vacations. Think about that. So the cool thing is for me, guys, is I got to make money the whole entire time. And then you know what happens is when people retire, like you don't get your retirement money until when?
At least 59 and a half.
Retired.
Until you retire. You don't get your retirement money until you retire, right? Guess what I've been getting for the last 12 years? My retirement money while working. After 1 year, I start getting like $1,000 a month. After 2 years, I was getting like 2,000 a month. After 3 years, I was getting like 3,500. 4, 5, 7 years went by, I was like 10 grand a month. 10 years went by, it was like 18 grand a month. 12 years hit, it's like 22,000 a month. While you're working, you're getting that, you know? So it's magical. It's crazy. You know, I can't even put it in the words, you know, what it really can do and the power that it has. And like the power of my residual income is the same power of having $8 million saved up. So you stick with this deal and you do it the right way. And it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. Like somebody said to me, like, man, that'd be great. You know, if I could do that, that's going to be wonderful. And I say, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But it's not. So you mean to tell me you go to the gym every day, you do everything that your trainer says, and man, if my muscles get a little bit bigger, that's going to be awesome. If you go to the gym every day and you do exactly what your trainer tells you to do, and you eat what they tell you to do, it's not a matter of if you get in shape. It's going to be when. So I'm telling you, if you do this deal and you apply the systems and you do what you're supposed to do, you do it the right way, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. It's going to happen eventually. It will. You're going to get there. So if you're here for 1 year and all you're getting is $250 a month, that's the same thing as having $100,000 in a 401k. Just so you know, $100,000 in a 401k, if you retired today, they would give you $3,000 a year, which is $250 a month. If you have $1 million, you can get $2,500 a month. So if you have 10, you know, and that's why I'm saying, if you have $4 million, you could get $10,000 a month. If you have $8 million, you could get $20,000 a month. So that's where these numbers come from. I didn't have to save any money in order for that to happen. Think about that. I didn't save a nickel. You literally can go for the next 10 years and just, what do they call that? YOLO. Right? You only live once. Yeah, you could just go and live your life, go on vacation. You know what other people can't do? They can't. And do it and be cool. Like my dad was like, all right, we either take the flight, go to Florida, cost me an extra $2 grand, or I retire one day. What should I do? Take the family to Florida or retire one day? What's he going to do? So he goes like this. We're going to get a minivan and we're going to drive to Ocean City, Maryland.
That's literally my dad.
Ocean City, Maryland. Yeah, you know, that's what we did. And it was great. You know, when you're a kid, you don't realize what was really going on. I'm older now. I'm like, all right, my dad had a real tough decision. It was like called a rock and a hard place. And that's what my dad was, right in the middle of that. And that's what everybody else is. So I was so worried about saving for retirement. One day, one of my mentors told me, he said, what are you worried about saving money for retirement, dude? Don't put no money in no retirement accounts. You can't touch that till you're 59 and a half. Do you want to? So he said, your retirement's taken care of. Do whatever you want with your money. So I save money in liquid positions so I can do stuff with it. Like if somebody comes up to me and says, Tommy, I want to open this opportunity. We're going to open a trucking company. I got this crazy thing where all the firemen need fire hoses and I'm going to be the only supplier of trucking and we can get in and it's going to cost you 10 grand, but we can make $1 million. I'm like, that'd be great. I don't got no 10 grand. All my money's tied up in these retirement accounts. Too bad. Go make somebody else $1 million. That would stink, right? If someone like you knew came up to you with this $1 million idea and you couldn't take advantage of that opportunity. So I set money aside in liquid positions just for opportunity costs because I don't want somebody to come up to me. I know one day I'm going to meet somebody because you know why? Because I talk about it, I think about it, and I pray about it, and I look around and I'm searching for it. If you don't look for a red car, you're never going to notice a red car drove right by you. Right? If you're not looking for opportunity, you're never going to see the opportunities that walk by. I'm looking for opportunities like a head on a swivel all day long. I'm moving into North Barrington. There's not a house in that place that ain't under $1.5 million, $2 million. Frank Thomas lives right up the street. I mean, how many $1 million opportunities you think I'm gonna just rub elbows with at the country club over there at the swimming pool or something, walking down the street with the kids, riding bikes? There's 420 homes in this neighborhood gated community. There's a guy that drives around on a SUV and makes sure there's a police that drives around my neighborhood. Like, you know, I grew up in the bottoms, just so you know. So police drove around my neighborhood, but for different reasons when I was growing up. So now it's different, it's gated. But the whole thing is the financial aspect of the residual income and how powerful it really is for you. You know, it really is. I'm telling you, there's nothing, you for the next 10 years, 20 years of your life, 30 years, you could just spend all your money that you make and know that your retirement is set. And it's going to be better than anything you could ever save, right? I don't recommend to blow all your money, by no means. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I guess, metaphorically speaking, if you want to call it that, whatever, save your money, okay? But all right, so back over here though, we're good on this stuff. I'm going to clear this out and let's just fly right through it now, okay? Now that we know how this works, it's all the same, all the way up now. So what I mean by that is you get paid two ways all the way. Okay, so you're an agent. What's after an agent? Supervising agent. Supervising agent is 62.5% contract. So the difference between these two is 2.5%. So now, if you're a supervisor and you have an agent, let's say you have 3 agents, and each agent does 2,000. So we had 3 agents, each of them do 2,000. Team did what? 6,000. Now, when we're a supervisor, we get paid 2 ways. The first way we get paid is commission. Commission is going to be the difference, because remember, the agent wrote business and got paid all the way up to 60%. But after that, the supervisor comes in and they capture that override of 2.5%. So the commission for the supervisor is 2.5%. And we times that by what?
3.
AL.
Oh,
Yep, ALP. So we always times the commission rate by the ALP, and that tells us our commission pay. So 2.5% times 6,000 would give us our commission pay of 2.5 times 6 would be $150. That is our commission earned. Commission earned. And we know with our commission earned, we get what? 65% advance, which is 150, what is about $100 or so, maybe like $95, something like that.
And that remaining 35 goes to the rest of the back end.
Correct. Yep. So the other $50 that you didn't get is going to the back end, building up, right? That's on a weekly basis. You do this 4 weeks, there's another $200 right into your back end. 9 months from now, you get. So, so the first way we get paid, number one, is commission, and our commission for the week was 150, and our advance was 100. So we made $100. Made $100. That's for having what? 3 agents, each do 2,000. Now the second way we get paid is we get paid bonus, leadership bonus. This is leadership commission, leadership bonus. When you're a supervisor, we get paid actually 4 ways. We get 2 ways our leadership pay, but also as a supervisor, I can go see my own clients. So I still get my personal pay and I still get my personal bonus, but also I get my leadership pay and then the leadership bonus. So we really get 4. Right now we're going over leadership pay and now leadership bonus. Leadership bonus works a little differently because when you are a supervisor, you get 125% of your team's bonus that are in their first 90 days. Now, you get 25% of the bonus if they're 90 days plus, so if they're out of their first 90 days. Okay. So for example, I'm a supervisor. I have one of my agents, they're brand new. Anytime that they go out and get a bonus, I'm going to get 125% because they're within their first 90 days. I also have another agent that's been here for 4 months. So every time they go get a bonus, they're going to get their bonus. And whatever they get in their bonus, I'm going to get 25% of that. So remember, this is never taking anything away from the agent. Your agent will always get their bonus. But if you are their supervisor, you're going to get a percentage of whatever their bonus is. And that's your leadership bonus. Okay. So let me make it simple for us. Is some people are getting 125, some people are getting 25. What they did, they average it out. And if you want to say like, well, what would my team typically get? It would typically be about 75%. If you just want to like average it out, you would typically get about 75%. So for us to do an example now, let's figure out what would my bonus be, okay? Well, over here, we had 3 people, 3 agents, all do what? 2,000, right? So when you do 2,000, what's the agent bonus for the week when the agent does 2,000? Yeah, what's the agent bonus for the week?
120? No, is it not?
What was it?
2,000 is about $235.
Steve says 235. Do you guys agree?
Well, that's for the agent.
That's right. Yeah, that was the question, right? So Steve said 235. You guys agree? No? Yeah?
That's for the single 2 grand.
What was the question one more time?
Yeah, see, I knew you guys didn't get the question. Let's slow down. All right, so check it out now. When you're an agent, if you do 2,000 for the week, what is your bonus that week? We just figured it out.
I think it was 235.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm looking at it like,
No, you got it. So it was 235. Remember, you get paid 2 ways as an agent. You get paid a commission and a bonus. And we figured the commission off of 2,000 was 780. And then the bonus off the 2,000 was 235. And the total pay was 1015. So that's the agent right there. So you're a supervisor and one of your agents did 2,000. That's what happened for them. They actually got paid. They made $1,000 and their bonus was 235 for the week. So the answer is 235. So you had 3 agents on your team and each one did 2,000. That means each one bonused at 235. So total bonus was 705. So your team earned in total bonus money $705 because you're the supervisor. What percentage of this do we get?
25.
So it could either be 125 or 25. So what we want to do, it's 75% will be the average. Okay. Some might be a little bit more, a little bit, depend a little bit. But if you want to figure out, like, if you're sitting there trying to figure out, all right, if I had a team of 5 people and they did this, what will my projected bonus typically be? Use 75%. Okay. So 75% of 705 is, what is it? It's like 525. It's like 523, 528. Okay. So just take my word for that one. All right. So 705 times 75% equals 525. And that 525 equals what? The supervisor's leadership bonus for the week. Okay. So the supervisor's leadership bonus for the week will be 525 plus the leadership pay is what? 100. So they made 625 for the week. And that team did a total of 6,000. So it's right around 10% of the production of income, if that makes sense too. So now you can be like, well, you're a supervisor? Yeah, okay. What did your team do for the week? Oh, we did about 8,500. All right, cool. You probably made about $850. See, just 10%. Whatever your SAT, that's pretty much 10%. You know, but also to knowing this stuff is important as well. Like, where are we coming up with these numbers? So once again, you're a supervisor. You got a 2.5% override because why? You're at 62 and your agent's, you're 62 and a half and your agent is at 60. So you get 2.5% override on all the business that they write. This week, we had 3 people. Each of them were average. They did 2,000. So we had a total of 6,000. And to figure out our commission, we just take our commission rate times our team production, which is 6,000. And we end up making $150 this week in commissions. We get advanced 65%. So we got $100 in our bank account deposited this week in our commission override in leadership off the team. And then also the bonus says that take whatever bonus your team gets, times it by 75% on average, that's what you'll get. So the team bonus at 3 people getting $235 each, they bonused at $705. We figured 75% of that is like $525. So I got a $525 leadership bonus. And I got a $100 override leadership pay on the team. So $625 was the total income. And now that is without the supervisor seeing any of their clients still. So that's only 2 ways. We still get paid when I go see my clients now. I still get my commission and I still get my bonuses off of that. Let's just say that I went out and saw 10 families and end up enrolling 3, and I end up doing about 2,000 ALP myself. Well, then I would make $1,000 in income off of that personal business that I wrote. So I'll make $1,000 off the personal business, and I'll make an extra $600 off of the team. So now I made a total income for the week of $1,600. And that was me doing 2,000 and 3 people all doing 2,000. Nobody really broke the bank or set any records on fire or anything, right? So just a quick little example right there. And $1,600 for a week is not bad. That's $82,000 a year. It's not a bad place to start, getting 3 people, getting some average numbers there. But when we go now from the supervisor to the manager, this is where your leadership is going to grow. You'll be responsible for more. Now, we know to go from an agent to a supervisor, you have to do what? You have to do 24,000 over 90 days. To go from a supervisor to a manager, it's 90,000 over 90 days. So how do you do this? I just went over how to do 24,000 over 90 days, right? That's just 8,000 a month. That's 2,000 a week. So you're right on pace right there. As long as you're getting 10 sit downs a week, boom, 3 months, you got that. Now you're a supervisor. Here's what I would say. If you have 3 people on your team, plus who? Plus you, that means you have a total of 4. Okay. Now on your team, if you each do $2,000 a week in production, your team's going to be doing $8,000 a week. If your team's doing $8,000 a week, do that for a month, do that for 4 weeks. And at the end of the month, your team did what? 32,000. And then if you do this for 3 months, then you're going to be at 90 over 90. You'll be at 96K over those 90 days. So that's the math behind it as well. Obviously, you can have more than 3 people, and it's a lot easier that way. You get there faster. So that's how we do it. So now let's say we did it. We did it. We hit those numbers. 3 months have gone by. Our team's built. It's grown. You've seen the newest ones that did that recently this year so far, Reich and Melissa got to a GA this year. Reich got to a GA this year. Matt Hunsberger got promoted to GAs this year, all through that process. So now when you're a GA, you're going to be overseeing essays. So, you know, if you have a supervisor, that person might have 3 agents. You might have another supervisor, might have 3 agents, and then you might be the GA that helps manage everybody. So the GA is set at 67.5% contract. The GA set at 67.5. What's the difference between the GA and the SA? 5%. 62 to 67.5. That's a 5% difference. Well, if you're a GA now, and you have this essay and 1, 2, 3, 4 people, this essay and another 3, so there's 4 and 4. So your team has like 8 people now. And all 8 people do 2,000. Your team's doing 16,000 a week. We know that they're at 62, they're at 67. So that 5% is the override. That's the commission. Let's figure out what the pay would be off of this. So the pay would look like this. It would be number 1, commission. That would be 5% times what? Times the team ALP, which is 16,000. And well, that would equal $800. That's the commission that you earned. The advance on this, so we'll go 65% of this 800 is, I don't even know, 570 or something like that. See what it is. Yeah, we'll get it out real quick here. All right. 800 times 0.65. 520 only. Okay. Yeah, 520. That's $520. That right there is the amount of money that you got paid for the week. So let's go back so we're not confused here. So we're a GA now. We have 2 essays. They have a team. Each essay has a couple people on their team. Overall, though, our team as a GA, we had 8 people, 2,000 each. So we did 16,000 for the week from the team. Okay. We get paid 2 ways off of this. The first way is commission. Commission is, you can take our commission rate times the team ALP. That gives us our commission earned. Commission earned for the week. Whatever we earn, they give us 65% advance. So we take home 520, which means there's still a good $280 that's going to be put into your back end. It's building up for you. First year, that's just in the first year. Now, the second way we get paid is bonus. And the bonus is, I'll just keep it simple for you guys. Well, I'll let you know. The bonus is, the first 90 days, it's 135%. 90 days plus, it's 50%. Does that make sense? Well, 90 days, 135. After 90 days, 50%. Average, if you average this out, remember the average for the supervisor was 75. This is 85%. So we'll keep it simple. We had 8 people, all do 2,000, which means we had 8 people, all bonus at 235. So we multiply that up and we'll just put it in here. 235 times 8 is 1880. 1880. What does 1880 represent, guys? That's right. 1880 is the total bonus that got paid out to the team. 8 people got $235 each. So the team got 1880 in their bonuses. For the GA, for you being the GA, you get 85% of that on average. So we take 85% of 1880 times 0.85. That's 1598. So we'll call it 1600. So the bonus is 1600. And our paycheck was 520. So the total income was 2120 for the week. That's off of how much business? 16,000 paid 2120. So it's a higher than 10% than the SA was getting. And this is without the GA going out and seeing any of their clients yet. We can still go see our clients. So our GAs all hit the field. Reich's team did 19,000 last week. So like Reich, you hear him, I could hear him through the wall over here. He's like, I don't know if he's role playing or what, but Reich, he, his team did more than 16, but he probably made, $20-some hundred off of the team last week. But then if you look, he also went out and wrote $3,000 of business himself. So remember, whatever you write, you make half. So he made another 1,500 off of his personal business on top of his team's business. So then he ended up making $3,500, $3,700, something like that for the week. So in this situation though, let's just say that we're using the example of 2,000 like we've been. So if you have 8 people and they all do 2,000, you'll get a nice paycheck off the team, which is good reward for all the hard work you guys did. But you go see and set some appointments and see the clients yourself, and you end up doing $2,000 of business, then you're going to make $1,000, and you add 1,000 onto this, and you make about $3,100 for the week. So that's if everybody just does 2,000, you'll make about $3,100 for the week. That is, over 150 some thousand a year right there. So that's getting the ball moving. That's getting started as a GA, as the GA. And then the last thing, I guess, last position we'll go over is going to be the MGA. All right, now, how do you become an MGA? Well, we already know how the SA worked, 24 over 90. We know how to become a GA was what? 90 over 90. So to become the MGA, guys, it's 180 over 90. Well, guess what we just went over? We just went over an example of 8 people all doing 2K and a team doing 16K a week, right? So if you are an MGA, or I'm sorry, if you are a GA and you have 2 SAs and each SA has a couple agents and you have about 8 people on your team, you're in position to do it. Because if you got 8 people doing 2,000 a week, you're doing 16,000 a week. 16,000 a week times 4 weeks will be how much a month? 64,000 a month. You guys, yeah, everybody with me on that? So 64,000 a month, and we need to do 180 over 90 days. So if I just do this for the next 3 months, 64 times 3 months is going to be more than it needs to be. 192. Yes, 192, and we only needed 180. So it looks like we're on the right path if you have a setup with about 8 people or so as a GA. I always recommend more. If you have 10, 12, 15 people, you'll get there a lot faster. Now, when you're an MGA, you're at 75% contract. The GA was at what?
67.
67.5.
There you
So
go.
what's the difference here? Yes. So the difference is
7.5%.
7.5%. Now, when you're an SA, you get 1% renewal off of your team, whatever the team does. When you're a GA, you get 1%. When you're an MGA, it's 2%. So it doubles. And then also MGA it should be bigger than a GA. So you're getting twice the amount off of more production. So that helps too. Also off the overrides too. So let's use an example. We'll do a drawing all the way over here. And this will be just the drawing of like a good hierarchy of a team. You know, if you have an MGA, the MGA should have a GA and should have another GA at least. Typically, it's a good way to build is having two GAs, two legs, if you could have that situation set up. And then each GA, I'd recommend them to have the same situation, is to have two SAs to work and build through. And then these SAs have agents that they're working and training. And the SAs train them, the GAs train them, the MGAs help train. We have 3, 4, 5 people that are helping training all these agents. And then the SA's job is to get the agent, right, to become the SA. You know, so we got to work, hit these numbers, do it. You still got to know what you're doing. And then the SA got to work. And when this guy becomes the SA, then the SA is going to become the GA, and we can help step up so other people can step in. You know, that's the motto, that's the philosophy, that's the saying, that's the phrase that pays. They would always say that you got to step up so other people can step in. So with this build out right here, you're looking at about a GA team over here of about 8 people and a GA team here of about 8 people. So you're looking at a total team size of about 16 people. And we're going to use that as our example for an MGA team for today, just so you can see the build out on it. So if you're an MGA now, when you're an MGA, you're going to get paid 2 ways. Really, it's 4 ways, but 2 ways in leadership, plus you can make your own personal commission and bonus. So let's get rid of this here as well. 2 ways. The first way is what? Commission. Commission, yes. Commission is going to be, look at this. I didn't even realize it's on my shirt. I'm teaching class. This is the first time I even realized this all day.
I could have sworn you did that on purpose.
I mean, I did it on purpose, but not for the purpose of teaching training class today. And we were actually going over commissions the whole time. I said commission like 20 times today. That's the first time I realized it. So yes, so the commission is going to be what? It's going to be the override, which is 7.5% times whatever the team does. Well, what did the team do? The team has now 16 people, and we all did 2. So we did 32,000 for the week. For today's sake, let's just do 30,000 for this number. A little bit easier math for us, okay? All right, so 7.5% of 30,000. And that equals our commission earned, which would be $22.50. So that's our commission earned. And then we take that at 65%, which would be around $1,500 would be the upfront pay. So that's the first way. The second way is our leadership bonus. And the bonus here is pretty simple. We'll just chalk it up to 100%. And it don't matter if they're in their first 90 days or out of their 90 days. For an MGA, it doesn't matter. MGA doesn't matter. So the only time it matters about this leadership bonus, whether in their first 90 days or out, is when you're the SA and the GA. When you become an MGA, they don't have to worry about that no more. So the MGA is going to receive now 100% of the team's bonus. So we got, 16 people all bonusing at 235. This is definitely where I need the calculator for. I think it's like $3,000 or something, like 30 some hundred. 16 times 235, 3760, 3760. That's the money that get paid to the team. So all the agents, everybody, they got 3760, and then the MGA is going to get 100% of that. So you just over here, the bonus equals 3760, and then plus a paycheck, the commission plus the commission. When you add those two together, we're looking at 5260. 5260 for the week. That's the weekly income for the team. And then you're going to grow from here, and we're going to keep growing, and other people are going to grow and develop. And you know, when you're an MGA, that means you have GAs. Well, your job is to get your GAs to become an MGA one day. Because wouldn't it be nice when they can start making this kind of money? You know, it's nice when you make it, but it's a lot better when your people will make it too. You know, and the thing is, if you want to make 500,000, then you're going to have about 4 or 5 people making 250. Right? In order for you to make 250, you're going to have a couple people you've made successful making 100,000, 80,000. You make 250. And then when you get a couple people making 250, now you make 500. And if you teach a couple people how to make 500, then guess what you make? You make $1 million. You got it. That's really the solution right there. So it's like, I need to get here. I need to get here, because how can I take you to the top of the mountain if I don't even know how to get to the top of the mountain? You know, so I need to get there. And trust me, the vision, the view, it's a beautiful view up there. It's a lot better at the top than the bottom. I promise you that. So when you do this, I'll take it one more step. Just if we got the time. It's going to take 2 minutes to do, but this is important. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to show you that what happens now is when you become an MGA, it's nice, it's great. You know, you're making $5,000 a week. You got the weekends off. You don't have to set any appointments. You didn't call and book one appointment. You don't have to get on Zoom, and the client had to tell you that they wanted to think about it, and you had to sit there and try and close them down and argue with them and get them on the thing and blah, blah, blah. And you make 100 phone calls, and one guy didn't show up on his appointment, you know, and whatever. You don't have to deal with that anymore. You know what you have to deal with? 20 other people that are dealing with that. And you got to coach them up and make sure that they're good. But you know what? You already been through it. So it's easy for you to take them through it. It's like a tour guide. He or she are the only ones that need to get to the top of the mountain. From that point forward, I could get 20, 30, 40, 50 people once I did it once. You know, the tour guide, there's one tour guide, but there's 20 people behind them. You know, so let's go to the MGA. You guys know the Mount Everest story, why I erased this. So there's a guy who's a tour guide for Mount Everest, and you guys know the statistics is if you try and go to the top of Mount Everest, if 10 people went, I think only 6 of them make it, or 5 make it, or 3 or something like that. But if 10 people went to the top, not all 10 make it to the top. And here's what the scary thing is, though. If 10 people make it to the top, not everybody makes it back down. So that's even scary. You might make it to the top, but that might be the last thing you ever even see. You ain't gonna make, some people don't even make it back down. It's scary, right? So then there's a guy, he interviewed the tour guide. There's this tour guide who has done like 100 trips up and down Mount Everest, taking people from the bottom all the way to the summit, to the top of this thing. And the announcer said, he said, you know, to go to the top of Mount Everest is a big risk. You're risking your life statistically. This is insane. I can't believe you made it this many times. He's like, why do you continuously risk your life and take people to the top of Mount Everest? And guess what the guy said? He looked at the guy. He said, obviously, you've never been to the top of Mount Everest, right? So once I became an MGA, it was awesome. I was home on a Friday. I took my girlfriend, who's my wife to right now. We went to dinner, and at this Italian restaurant. It was called Bravo in Pittsburgh, and it was right across the street from the movie theater. And we went to dinner, and after dinner, we went to the movies, and it was Friday night, and they just paid me like $5,000, right? And I realized this is pretty awesome, because where I came from, Friday nights meant I was working. Saturday mornings, I was working like nonstop. So to be able to be home on Friday night and make $5,000 and not have to work the weekends was absolutely insane. Most people to make $5,000 a week have to travel to China, and they can't see their families. They have to go on extended trips across the world, you know, to make $250,000. Yeah, you make $250,000, but we own your ass. Here's where you got to be. You got to be here. You better check in, better fill out your reports. You better do this, better do that. Or I'm taking that 100, 250 like that, just as quick as you got. I'm taking it right off you. Like, they got you, if you know what I mean. So it was pretty cool to call your own shots, be where you want to be. Like my mentor, my boss was like happy for me. He's like, this is what I told you when you came in, didn't I tell you? This is what we worked for, man. I know it took us 2 years. I told you Rome wasn't built in a day. It took you 2 years. Was it easy? I said, hell no. He said, was it worth it? I said, heck yes. It was worth it. I'd do it all again and over again. You know, somebody told me, I said, if you do this deal the right way, you'll be making $250,000 for the rest of your life. I said, I would do anything for that. Anything. Like, you could tell me, hey, listen, you have to go on a barge down the middle of the Amazon River, okay? And you go down the Amazon River, and then you come back the Amazon River, and you go up and down the Amazon River, and you're gonna shovel garbage from one pile to another for 16 hours a day, okay? For the next 2 years, you can't call anybody, see anybody, no Instagram, no TV, no nothing. You got to stay on a barge for 2 years. But when you come back, we'll pay you $250,000 for the rest of your life. Would you do it? I would. If you're that type of person, then you're like me, which means you'd pretty much damn near do anything for $250,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the next 2 years, if you told me I had to sleep in that corner behind that plant, I would sleep behind the plant for the next 2 years. You know, I would do whatever it took. Short, I mean, I don't even know what I wouldn't do, really, you know? And this was, you're talking to a kid that at the time was in his young 20s, and I grew up with nothing. So, like, I probably would cut a finger off at that point. Like, going back, I was desperate. You know, like getting your PhD. PhD meant for me, what did it say? Poor, hungry, and desperate. I was poor. We had no money. I was hungry for an opportunity, and I would do I was so desperate, I would have did anything, literally anything, anything from what I saw growing up, you know? So this is just amazing, changed the world for me and my family. But here's the key. Now, the whole thing is when you get to the top, you got to take other people, right? So when you become an MGA, now you got to get other people there. So you become what's called an RGA when you're an MGA, okay, and you have a GA. You're an MGA, you have a GA, okay? This GA now gets promoted to an MGA over here. You now become their RGA. So this right here, this is you. This is the MGA you promoted, right? And then over here, this is who? Who's this MGA? This is you too. Okay, so you're an MGA, and you always run your MGA team. And this GA ends up getting promoted, takes a couple people with them, they go run their deal, but you still got a whole bunch of people back here. Next man up, next woman up, next person up. Now Alex steps up. She's my GA. I'm rolling with Alex. We set the goals. Boom, she hits them. 6 months go by. She hits her numbers. Now Alex goes. She's an MGA. Boom, she takes a couple people with her. Now up. Who's next behind? Gina, now I'm working with Gina. So Gina is my GA, I'm working with Gina. And then boom, now she gets promoted to an MGA a couple months later. So I'm the RGA over Gina, Steve, Alex. I'm the RGA over those three. But guess who I am over here still? I'm still an MGA, okay? So for me, I became an MGA, and that set me up. I was making $250 a year off of that. So I got $250,000 a year coming in off my MGA team. We're rocking, all the time. That just happens. But then also now I'm an RGA over here. So how do I get paid off of this? How do you get paid as an RGA? Okay. The RGA is at 80%. The MGA is at 75. They get a 5% override on the team. Let's use an example of you get a situation like I had set up after 4 years. So after 4 years, I was an MGA, and then I had 1, 2, 3, 4 MGAs, right? And each MGA was doing about $25,000 a week, right? So my MGAs, they were doing $100,000 a week, my MGAs. Well, they get 75, I get 80. So what was my commission? My commission was the 5% times the team production. So every week, my commission was $5,000. And then we got a 65% advance. So I got about $3,300 a week in your advance, okay? Now on top of that, the bonuses are way better. I used to get 20%, 40%. Now the bonuses are 100%. So the way it works now is the RGA leadership bonus. RGA leadership pay, we just figured out, right? The 5% off the total ALP. We figured out the RGA commission, your RGA commission, right? RGA commission, boom. The second way we get paid after commission is bonus. The RGA bonus is 100% of whatever the MGA bonus is. Okay?
Each one.
Yes. Yes. So we just did an example of the MGA gets a $30,000 week in production. Their bonus is like $3,700. Okay? So if an MGA does a $25,000 week, their bonus minimum is going to be $2,500. So I have these 4 MGAs. Each one of them got $2,500 in their weekly bonus. So they total bonus money of what? $10,000 in total bonus money that got paid to them. And since I'm the RGA, I get 100% of that. So my bonus for the week is what? $10,000 is equal to my RGA bonus. So 10,000 plus the 3,300 is 13,300 or something like that. So $13,000 is the RGA income, plus I'm still an MGA over here making $5K a week. So add the 5 onto the 13 is what? $18,000 for the week. This is what I made in my 4th year with this company. I made $937,000, so I made more than that per week. But I also had residual income coming in at that point, a little bit. So, how long would this take? We'll go over that in a second. But any questions on this? This took me 4 years. I was 25. I started 25, 26, 27. And when I was 28, 2008, I made this. This is what happened. And when I did it, we all had to drive to our appointments. We all, like literally, I had to, number one, to hire you, you had to come to the office. If you didn't come to the office, I couldn't even hire you. To train, you had to be here. To go see your people, you had to drive to all these appointments. Like we did all of this, and we had the restrictions, the physical restrictions, no virtual. I couldn't hire people in Ohio and all over the place. I didn't even have Instagram. No socials or anything.
Who is the RGA now? Is he in?
Who's the RGA?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll show you the RGA and our deal. I'll show you our deal and how our deal is structured right now. So we have MGA, there's Josh, there's Gio, there's Vince, and Casey are the 4 MGAs that we have. Okay. Geo is Vince's RGA. Because last year, Vince was the GA. Vince got promoted to an MGA, you know, and that made Geo the RGA.
So you can become an RGA with just one under you.
Yep.
That's as soon as they bump, you bump because now you're their RGA.
Yep, you got it. So look, see, Geo's in 2 spots. Geo gets paid 6 ways. So Geo gets an RGA commission and he gets an RGA bonus. He gets an MGA commission and an MGA bonus. Plus he gets his personal commission and his personal bonus. When Geo writes business, his commission is what? 75%. When he was an agent, you think he likes to write business now or before? You think he's better when he was here? He's like a ninja. It's like the black ninja. He could just go in there, make one call, set an appointment, and make 10 sales off of it somehow. You know? So for him, it's easier for him to do, and he gets paid a lot more off of it. And the renewals over here are 3. The renewals are 7. See, it's good, right? So it makes sense if he wants to maybe trip and fall and write a business here and there or sneeze some ALP out every now and then. Like for him, it's so easy, you know? So he can go do that. And that's where you're going. You're going to be just like that. It's going to be so easy. Like, all right, I guess I'll make a couple calls, make a couple $1,000 real quick. Like, you know, I'm making 18 grand this week, but I'll take an extra 2, you know? So this is the structure right now. That's pretty much it. We have Casey that helps oversee Geo. And then we have my dad, so we call him TJV, and he oversees these individuals right now. But that's kind of it. So there is no like who's the RGA. There's no the RGA is going to be whoever you promoted out, you know, like that. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, we could go through the structure a little bit more. We all have GAs, right? So the GAs here is Drew, and then we have Jay Vaughn, and we have Tommy Whalen over here. So Drew's going to be next up for promotion. So Drew's going to be probably up here in a few months. He'll be at MGA, and he'll probably take Tommy or Jay Vaughn with him. And then Josh will have one manager, and then they'll build, and then they'll build. And then Geo has Melissa, and Melissa has Christina and Marquise as their man. This is just the management crew. We have a lot more, and then he also has Austin, and Austin has Ryan, who's about to be promoted here very shortly. Vince has Matt Hunsberger, and he's looking at promoting 3 to 4 people by the end of this month. Reich has Faith and Marvin right now as his SAs. He's a GA. Casey, he's looking at right now, we have Marissa and Mason. Both are looking to get promoted by the end of this month as well. So that's kind of like the leadership team for the most part. I hope I'm not missing anybody, but I might be 2 or 3, I don't know, but let's see here. It looks pretty solid. So that's the leadership team right now for the most part. But we added it up. We have over 50 years of experience just in those top like 6 people that you saw up there on the thing. So some good experience up there, you know. But I wanted to show you guys that. Sorry, I took a little bit extra time today. Hopefully, wasn't too much to take in. Hopefully, you got the gist of it. I hope it wasn't a waste of our time by any means. And I wanted to show you the math, the vision. Do I expect everybody to have this memorized right now? Of course not. There's no way you have everything that we just went over memorized. But if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't like review this information and go over it, you'll lose it. And this is the understanding portion of the numbers behind it, you know, why we're here and all that. So if you have any questions for me, I'll definitely stick around and answer them. And if you have any questions along the way to get your career moving in the right direction, I'm sure there's people that come in and have done bigger and better than I have. I just don't know anybody who's done the path that we've done, over here. So I can get you to where you want to go and show you the numbers and really what it's going to take and all that. So don't be afraid to ask or, shoot me a call or email or ask your manager to get us in touch. And I hope you guys work whatever I can do to get you where you need to go. So you got a little bit of a break today. And then I would say hook up with your manager. And one thing that I'm going to give you just a little bit of homework, okay, is make sure that you have eApp on your computer. Okay, make sure you have eApp on your, some people are already like, yeah, and some people are like, oh, I don't have it. Okay, here's what you do. Tell your manager that Tommy said, I need to have eApp on my computer. Can you please help me? And it's pretty easy. They just send you an email and you download it and it goes on your computer, okay? And the reason I want you to have that is because for the next 10 days, pretty much, I want you guys to practice doing an application on your computer, 2 of them every night. Every night, practice these applications. By the end of training, you're going to be so much more comfortable and confident with the application process. So that's the only we'll see if you guys can do it, but ask your manager for examples if you don't have any. But what I did the first few nights is I got my mom, got my dad, got my aunt. I called one of my friends and I just said, hey, I need to practice filling applications out. Let me just role play this with you. So you can get a couple of them in there and just give different scenarios. Ask your manager. I think Drew actually has a good 8 or 9 hard examples that we like to use, good practice ones. So just as a side note, I hate giving homework and nobody likes people that give homework. So don't hate me, but I got to give you a little bit of homework, guys. So practice your eApps, practice them, because when you get to the end of the presentation and they say yes, you're going to have to fill that thing out. And if you start filling it out what was it, Joe? A J-O-E, was it Smith with an S? Yeah, Smith. Wait, that was Joseph, right? So that's a J. Well, I gotta erase this. Oh, that's freezing, guys. J-O-S-E-F or P-H? You guys are probably getting annoyed and frustrated with me right now because we've been on this call for how long? A while. And if I keep you on this call for an extra half hour and you have to hear me do that, you're going to be like, does this guy know what he's talking about? Wait a minute. He wants me to give him $100 a month for the rest of my life. I don't know about this anymore. He said he was a professional. So it literally can take all the steam out of your presentation, all the wind out of your sails, and all the confidence out of your client at the end. If you're not professional with the application, okay? So do at least 2 practices a night on that. So when you get to the presentation and they say yes, you're not like, oh, now what? What do I do next? You should already have done that a whole bunch of times, okay? Hey, I appreciate your time today, guys. I'm excited for you. And have a great night on phones tonight, guys. Call your manager, hit up your manager, let them know how class went today. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Nice to meet some of your faces.
Bye.
Here, I'll show you their faces. You can say hi to everybody.
Ah.
You guys are on the big screen up there. You see that?
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice.
all day.
Thanks, Mr. Bean. I appreciate it.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
All right, that should be it. So yeah, Lindsay, that was everything. If you have any questions, you can definitely hit up your MGA. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.